for the viewers that Tehseen is late.
As always.
As always. So we're going to start.
And under protest, we have decided we'll start.
Excuse me.
हम भी यार.
हम भी हैं इस जमाने में पाजी. आरती उतारूं रे कैसी माता की.
Tamil names.
Salad was gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Nick. Can I have one more?
Can I have some more? Yes, can we have some more salad, please?
Can we rename ourselves as a salad caucus?
Justin Trudeau didn't think about me.
No, but
seriously
it's
नहीं लेता कोई. Seriously नहीं लेता मुझे. Even Congress party is not taking you seriously. That's below the belt now.
BJP guys have extraordinary inferiority complex because they're upwardly mobile, lower middle class people.
That is to be censored.
You know, I've never been a fan of the MEA.
I've been a fan of anybody except me.
What's going to happen in Maharashtra?
कांग्रेस ही जीतेगा महाराष्ट्र. बीजेपी जय भाड़ में, जय राहुल गांधी, जय कांग्रेस.
Can you not complete your sentences? साला ये बाद में जो पूरी 15 million लोगों को offend कर देता है, हमें उस पर भुगतना पड़ता है.
Sees the evil
Kamadeva
and
burns him to ashes, cinder.
That's the only time Shiva opens his third eye, by the way.
Sareen, clap करो. चलो.
वाह.
Kanimori Tamurya.
It was not a question.
fraud. One number fraud. Yendriya. See Yendri. Rascal.
I refuse to speak to beneath my dignity to
Peace.
Rabbinical patriarchal
is what I'm fighting
supremacist
against.
is oppressing a Muslim SC
Exactly.
on the ANI
Yeah, and I
podcast.
object to
Foreign
this.
interferer.
दिल्ली से हटो
How was the podcast?
चलो जल्दी चलो.
Completely boycott this podcast simply because these are foreign influence agents. They are affecting a rule of law country in Canada. How can we tolerate this? Nonsense.
Please talk to us. What happened? Was there any fight?
I'm the Canadian High Commissioner. Canada is a rule of law country. You black native savages, you can't even spell rule of law.
Was there any fight?
Remember, Canada is white. You people are brown. Good head.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. This is a very special edition, something that you've been waiting for, the Real Samosa Caucus. I have with me here Anand, Sushant, Tehseen and Abhijit. But before that, I have a few points that come up when people write in their comments, and I want to address those first. So for the caucus, many of you have written that don't serve anything to eat because it distracts from the audio quality. But I'm sorry, it's a very long podcast and the entire idea of the Samosa Caucus is to have fun out here. So we eat and we talk about the food, we talk about politics and everything. The other one that you people say is that sometimes one person tends to dominate or two people tend to dominate the conversation. Now, the thing about all of us is that we're all opinionated, we are friends, we tend to talk over each other, and it's a very Indian way of having conversations where some of us wait for our turn to speak and some of us speak over others. It's not intended to be rude, but it's just the way we do things. Another comment that comes is that I cut or interrupt a conversation when somebody is on their flow, and I shouldn't do that. Well, the thing is that some of these podcasts are 2 hours long or 3 hours long, and the speakers who come on the podcast like to do a freewheeling conversation. Sometimes the conversation veers too much into their personal lives or it might go off track. And since I'm here as an anchor, my job is to steer the conversation. So sometimes I do interrupt, I do interject. My idea is to keep it within a certain framework that I want the podcast to be aired. Sometimes the podcast is very short. It could be just 40 minutes. And the speaker has told me that he or she has to catch a flight, has to leave. So it's steered in a direction whereby we can speak about maximum number of topics related to that person's life and career. There are times on the Samosa Caucus we don't agree with each other. We may have differing views. That doesn't take away from the fact that we respect each other. We respect those who have different views. That's fine by us. And that's exactly how I want this podcast to be. There are many people who come on the podcast who have very different views from me. They might disagree with me. They might argue with me. That doesn't mean that one is trying to put down the other. I anchor or I host several people on the podcast who come from different strata of society, who come from different political parties, who might have different political views, who might have different personal views. That doesn't matter at all. I want this podcast to be a platform where people of different views and different engagements feel this as a safe space where they can come and discuss with me, and you as viewers and listeners can listen in, participate through your comments, which I do read and which I do imbibe when I ask questions with my guests. Thank you guys for being part of the Samosa Caucus.
No, we have come under protest.
You've come under protest. Okay, so no smiles. Smile all gone. Yeah. So I'm going to begin with that entry point. But before that, let me
I was
just
actually going to wear all black simply as a mark of protest against your foreign interference by the two of you.
By the two of us.
I just wanted to condemn you're a foreign interferer.
Okay.
And I want to tell you we're a rule of law country and we don't like dirty black natives like you interfering in our business.
Yeah.
So
Shall
will you
we-
please stop covering Canada and writing about Canada?
And we believe in freedom of press as long as it's
As long as
not
you're
anybody
as
else's
long as
press.
it's not brown people talking about
Yeah.
it.
We have no freedoms.
I should start with Shalom, considering what happened last time.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
Shalom.
But first, just for the viewers, that Tehseen is late.
As always.
As always. So we're going to
And
start.
under protest, we have decided we'll start.
We're going to start, and whenever he joins, he joins.
And also for all the meme makers and copyright stealers, we're going to be doing some dancing as well this time also.
Why does it bother people?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, if we're not supposed to. You would remember that song from Cocktail, Hasta
I mean,
Khelta Dekhkar.
Look, see,
Jal gayi duniya,
they're all
jal gayi.
joyless incels.
Huh.
They haven't been laid in like 20 years.
Yeah, ye incel
They
kya hota hai?
haven't. Incel are people who don't get laid. They're ugly, smelly, stinky people who don't get
Is
laid.
there a cut-off taboo?
And I mean, I get it. You lead joyless lives. I mean, we live our lives, man. We're right wing. We believe in making money and enjoying life.
Okay, whether right or left wing or centrist. किसने कहा था कि you just have sore bums if you're a centrist. You're not left.
I hadn't heard that, but I'm going to
You're
use
not
it.
on the left fence. You're not on the right fence. You're on the
you
fence.
have barbed wire indentations on your ass. You're just sitting on the fence.
So that's what some of us are. But yeah, last episode of ours, my God, the number of YouTube videos, and it really got people incensed.
So, Shalom.
Shalom.
And where is the camera that's there?
You can use
So,
it.
for all those who are going to, in fact, so how many of us are there in this room?
We're right now 4 of us.
No, there are actually 5. वो भी वहाँ बैठा हुआ है वो सबसे पहले वो देखता है हमारा एपिसोड तो मैं कह दूं जो भी इसको सर्कमसाइज करेगा इसको सॉरी व्हाट्स द वर्ड जो 2 क्लिप निकालते हैं इट्स नॉट सर्कमसाइज
Clip.
अच्छा हाँ तो पहले ही बता दूं कि शालोम अंडरस्टूड
Shalom, and I'm so glad BB's whooping your ass.
Oh God. Okay. That was another thing that really, really bothered people.
No, but I have to say this. I'm absolutely shocked. That actress, what's her name? She's come out as if Yahya is the
whack job, Swara Bhaskar. She calls a man who ordered the raping and killing
1,400 people, babies, microwave. She's saying
and based on what he was, and mind you, if you look at the video, him, his kids, and his Birkin bag carrying wife spent the entire year hidden on the tunnels.
Right.
It's
There were no-
supposedly
she had a
not
Birkin
Birkin.
bag?
Yeah.
She,
अच्छा वो भी
Smita
note कर
jealous.
लिया वो भी
स्मिता ने तो इसीलिए उसको
हम दोनों
disqualify
कैसे
कर
friends
दिया
बन गए?
You know
I
why
think-
you said it? Because stool नहीं था साथ में.
So I think that is Swara's angle. She wants the
It's crazy, yeah.
Beva ki Birkin. But
नहीं but कैसे Yahya?
did she also get blown up? Or just the bag got
no,
blown
no.
up?
The guy
No,
got
we talk about
blown
Swara.
up.
So,
आ गया
यार, you know.
हेलो
ये क्या तरीका है?
Mwah.
फिर अब
Excuse me.
वो भी दे यार
हम भी हैं इस जमाने में पाजी.
Okay, for those who are listening to this and have not seen it,
Yes.
Tehseen just
Good
went
for you.
and smooched,
didn't-
smooched,
I didn't smooch.
Of course you smooched.
No, I
Okay,
kissed. That's a
peck on the cheek.
He pecked.
Peck on the cheek for Abhijit and
Visible
nobody
cheek,
else.
Yeah. And we are feeling left out.
We are feeling complete. Thank God for that.
So we started.
पूरे दिन चल रहे हैं.
Why do you always come late?
I always have a habit
Okay, we're
of
going to
taking a
stop.
long
Okay,
time
cut
to
that
come.
out.
Cut
Cut
that
that out. Cut that out, for heaven's sake.
So we have samosas here. So they're homemade samosas.
They're lovely.
So this is aloo samosa is going to come. So
जब तक
samosa
रहेगा
caucus.
समोसे में आलू तब तक रहेगा बिहार में लालू.
समोसे में
रहेगा
तो आलू है,
इंडी
बिहार में
अलायंस
तो
में.
लालू नहीं है.
इंडी अलायंस में. अच्छा पहले
तब तक
क्लैरिफाई
रहेगा
कर दो.
इंडिया अलायंस में लालू.
Is it India alliance like Rahul Gandhi says,
Yes,
or
yes.
India alliance?
India alliance.
अच्छा तो वो
The
A
A
क्या है?
stands for alliance, just like in NDA, the A stands for alliance. You
So
say
India
BJP
alliance.
says BJP.
So it's India alliance
You say
alliance.
BJP party. So the P is always repeated.
So you
or the
repeating
Who says
alliance.
BJP party?
Everyone says BJP
Nobody
party.
says BJP party.
And they say India alliance.
They just say
They say
BJP.
India alliance. Please watch the news. So same.
India alliance is fine, na?
Also India alliance, same.
Huh. But
Alliance,
they take a
alliance.
lot of umbrage when you say India alliance.
They shouldn't, because it allows the opposition to troll them. They shouldn't. Just उनको जो बोलना है बोलने दो. We know we are India alliance.
But you're not India alliance. You're India.
Stop.
India alliance. India मेरे हाथ पे है.
अरे
Okay, we were talking about the whole Swara Bhaskar tweet when you came in. We were recording that. So
supporting Yahya.
Just continuing.
She supported a terrorist.
Can we read that?
There were no tunnels for the ordinary people of Gaza. In the entire 600 public pages of planning for Gaza, there is literally one sentence about the suffering of people when they were actually factoring that in purely to say they'll have to suffer. That's it. But his own family ke liye different rules. He got snuffed out of the ground based on the fact that the Israelis detected his wet wipes, the snot on his wet pipes. They detected his DNA on it. He was smoked out of the ground. He was hiding like a sewer rat. And finally, when he knows there is nothing left, after having his own people killed and everything, then his act of heroism is उसने डंडा फेंका ड्रोन पे.
हाँ.
ये देखो ये जो बॉलीवुडिया लोग
No,
होते
first I
हैं
didn't
पता
believe
है
it when I
उनके
saw.
उनके IQ बहुत कम
अच्छा,
होते
no,
हैं.
that
But
is
this
really
is
But sorry.
No,
you
but
know,
it's
did you
the
see
truth.
the bag his wife
I'm
had?
sorry.
Did you
Okay,
see
so
the
the Birkin.
okay, the Birkin, his
So
wife.
it's
While the
probably-
people, while the poorest people in
Birkin ही notice करते हैं ये लोग.
तो
नहीं, क्या
I just
notice
wanted
किया?
to know
तुम्हें
did
क्या
the
पता,
Birkin
आनंद
blow up
साहब?
or not blow up?
No, it didn't. The wife and the kids are fine. But you know,
Yeah. Can we read this thing?
Yeah,
I'm
so-
shocked out of it. It's
Okay,
4,000 retweets.
Somebody read it out.
why
I
are we
didn't-
giving it publicity? Yeah. But
Because we're
anyway.
talking
Yeah.
No,
about
because I didn't know about this.
Okay, so read it out. Abhijit, you're the closest to this.
I didn't know anything about Yahya Sinwar till I saw the footage of his last moments and assassination by the Zionist state, and now I think he's a revolutionary hero. Listen to his will, his last words, and tell me you are unmoved. Free Palestine.
I think the only
It got
thing that moved
4.5 retweets, 4.5 thousand
If she
retweets.
didn't know anything about Yahya Sinwar, it smacks of astounding ignorance.
ये बॉलीवुडिया है washed out career.
Actually. Yeah. Okay.
No, but I don't like this idea of just saying, okay, brain dead because Bollywood. No, she knows exactly what she's doing.
No, she
she's
doesn't.
getting engagement.
She had never heard about Yahya
social-
Sinwar.
she knows what she's doing. I'm not saying
I think
she-
that's virtue signaling.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
I
She's
didn't
Her
know about
constituency
it.
now.
How can you not know about it? When you're talking about Gaza, you're talking about the conflict in the Middle East or the current conflict. How can you say I don't know about Yahya Sinwar when he is the guy they are being hunted?
You think all the eyes on Rafah, all eyes on Rafah, you think any of those morons had any idea?
Is it paid for?
No, but I want to stick on this
Who-
because
who
these are
pays
the
for
same
this?
people.
Why, if she doesn't know about Yahya
Acha,
Sinwar,
एक minute. Anand is saying something.
and she's making a fool of herself, it must be paid for.
One by one.
You see, this exemplifies when they say Pragya Thakur ko jail mein dalo because she said something about in support of Nathuram Godse and all. Here is a guy who cold-blooded committed murder of 1,400 innocents, microwave babies, planned the whole thing, and saying, he's a revolutionary hero.
Okay, forget
Okay,
about one second.
Now,
Forget
Sushant.
about what he did with the Israelis. Okay,
Exactly.
what he did to the Palestinians themselves. How come that does not figure into it? So it is that if you kill a
Crazy.
Muslim,
Yeah.
that's perfectly kosher, it's halal. But if somebody else comes and fights against them, then he becomes what? A revolutionary hero.
और इनको समझ में नहीं आता कि ये पूरा जो human shields बना के रखते हैं, as you were saying, all the hospitals, the tunnels are under.
Leave aside the human shields. Let us just discuss his interrogations of any Palestinian he suspected.
Yes,
they
that's
had no
what I said.
proof.
Torture.
They plucked out he personally
would pluck out
their fingernails.
Yeah.
Cracked their rib bones inside their ribs, plucked out their eyes.
Yeah.
To the
This
point,
is eyewitness accounts.
And
he himself talks about it.
He talks about it. He's interviews.
Okay.
And at one point, this guy was so bad. You know, torture is the most unreliable method of getting intel or anything out of anyone. Okay.
Because you'll say the truth to escape.
You'll say whatever they want.
So you know, at the end, he said, this guy, he finally admitted to it. Admitted to it how? He said, thank you for doing this. I really deserved it. Does this sound to you like intel coming out, or is this man was a sick sadist? And pata nahi kya hai? I mean, I can't even call her whatever because that will be an insult to whatever. But calls herself a feminist. लानत है इन जैसे लोगों पे.
But
तुम तो लानत के भी लायक नहीं हो.
I'm disappointed.
When this guy was in jail, he considered then himself an expert on Israel because he would study in all those books in jail. So that's how he became this so-called legend, because he considered himself an expert on Israel. Now, unlike the other Hamas leaders who lived mostly in Qatar, this guy lived obviously in Palestine. He was the one against the peace deal. So Hamas also tried to modify and then finally was accepting not violence. Though that hadn't come into their charter, they were sort of negotiating it. By starting the 7th October conflict, who he's singularly responsible for, he has not only let, as you said, the Israelis down or killed them, he's killed his own people. Look at what's happening at Gaza. Innocent people, innocent kids today are dying, and he's responsible for that. While his wife, and I again repeat, was roaming around with a Birkin. That is unacceptable by the poor people. What are we talking about? There's a problem in Gaza. They don't have food. They don't have medicine. Imagine the common kids in Palestine who don't have any basic necessities, and his wife has a Birkin. How is that acceptable?
Was the case in Gaza even before the conflict started. The Hamas guys lived it up. They had everything going for them. They had a state to themselves, and everybody else was eking out in existence.
And they killed the Al-Fatah group.
Obviously.
Which was not
that the Al-Fatah is any better.
But people need to dig up those videos of when the split happened in 2006.
Yeah, and how they killed each other.
And see how they killed the Fatah faction folks. They were necklacing them, putting bicycle tires around their neck and setting it on fire. That's the worst way to die, because you know the fire doesn't kill you because it's around your neck. The rubber melts, it sticks to your body, and it slowly roasts you. It's a horrible, horrible way to die.
But
the Gazans elected them democratically.
No. At the gunpoint. So they didn't win in all of Gaza.
Yeah,
that's also Hamas doesn't win all of Gaza. They win some areas in Gaza. They don't win all of, but they won on the gun. But they went on the gun.
Not really, because it was under Fatah at that point,
which obviously was a weakened thing, and the weapons came in from allegedly Qatar and Iran, but Netanyahu kept his eyes shut on that.
They became
what is
strong later.
Another thing which came up in social media quite a lot was that the Indian right wing was extremely supportive of Israel, fine, with whatever you want to be supportive of Israel, on the attacks on whether on Hamas, whether on Hezbollah, whether on Iran. The right wing is supportive of them. What happens when the Indian right wing is accused of running fake handles being supportive of Israel? Fake handles which are pretending to be Israelis.
No, but small correction, even Tehseen is supportive of what Israel is doing.
No, but I'm not supportive of a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities or war with Iran because, and also from an Indian point of view, Iran is our friend. In fact, the Prime Minister has invited the Iranian president, I think next week sometime, or he's accepted it. So it is in India's interest to ensure Israel and Iran don't fight. Hezbollah, Hamas...
Yeah, but you are supportive of Israeli action.
Listen, they started 7th October. I'm not in support of those kids being killed. I am in support of all these terrorists being knocked out, including the Hezbollah chief.
And can I say I'm particularly disappointed with what Swaraj, because she's the brand ambassador of Harpic and I've been using Harpic. So I'm in two minds now. Whether I should be,
Do you do that? when if somebody has political opinions, I mean, forget about this tweet. Ye to tweet hatao, please. Suppose you have a celebrity endorsing a certain product which you don't agree with that celebrity's political views. Do you stop using that product? Does that happen with you?
Not really.
Not really, right? But I know of people who will not go and watch a movie because they may not agree with Amitabh Bachchan or Nasiruddin Shah or whatever. कि नहीं देखना, उसकी picture नहीं देखनी.
No, I don't do that.
Don't do that,
I don't
right?
do that, yeah.
It's
But
different.
that line is blurring. I have
the
to say
counter
this,
question is,
because
do you
some of
buy a
them are so
product
vicious
if it is
with
endorsed
their
by a
views
celebrity?
that,
But, but I never buy celebrity endorsed products.
So
I
exactly.
test things
so
out
either
myself.
which way, it doesn't make a difference
In fact,
to you.
I fundamentally believe that if a product needs celebrity validation, it's not a good product.
But see, like in the American elections, you'll have certain actors like George Clooney or whatever supporting the Democrats. A
Taylor
lot
Swift.
of Bollywood, Taylor Swift.
She's in the news.
So, but then do people stop watching those
Maybe a
movies?
few people would be influenced by their endorsement, but I don't think it materially changes the voting patterns of anybody.
Yeah.
but the
maybe
left
a couple of
left,
people.
I mean, cancel
But-
culture
but the
started from
movies-
No,
there.
no, cancel culture, hum dono, to we are now foreign interference.
Yes, yes.
Accused of foreign.
Ji.
As
I am
opposed to
very-
Sushant and I, who are serious academics,
Senior.
and our
So
interference
these guys are
isn't
just
interference.
jealous. They've
Which
not-
is why we were
they are the
protesting to
foreign
come.
policy experts, and they've
Very good.
so foreign policy experts have been ignored, and the real guys who the Canadian government fears are the ones have been
could
named.
you put
Thank
your
you.
chairs at a lesser height than the two of us?
Are you
We're
mad?
s- we're
We are the real
serious
magistrates out here.
academics. You're
You're
just
the
foreign
plebs.
interferers.
I'm getting
Seriously, if
FOMO.
you-
Justin Trudeau didn't think about me.
Shocking.
Damn.
देखो
but it's
seriously
not.
नहीं लेता कोई.
Seriously नहीं ले रहा मुझे. I'm very upset. Not even Justin Trudeau is taking me seriously.
But even Congress party is not taking you seriously. Yeah?
That's below the belt now. no,
Did you see?
They're the only ones taking me seriously.
They leaked
Rose
out-
phone karte hain. What's
Tehseen,
happening?
They leaked out information. The Canadians leaked out information to the Washington Post before they did the press conference.
No, before
did
they
they-
even did the meeting with Doval.
With Doval in Singapore.
They leaked the information before the meeting with Doval.
And that information which they leaked to Washington Post mentions that the Indian Home Minister was involved in this entire operation and mentions by name.
Yeah.
How can they do that?
But
release that?
no evidence
No
provided.
evidence given,
No.
It was a briefing. There was no intel shared.
Yeah.
But then what happens is, the very next week, Justin Trudeau says that anybody who leaks information is a criminal.
That about China.
So by that, and that is all China, and he's refusing to release the list
Yeah.
of MPs who were given money because it'll turn out that 99% of them are
his
either with
party.
Jagmeet or with him. Now, Pierre Poilievre doesn't want the briefing because if he gets the briefing, he's not allowed to talk about it.
Huh.
Okay. Now, ye kaisa ye hai? So he will show him the list where 99% of the people taking money from China will be either NDP or Liberal Party MPs. But Pierre will be restricted from talking about it in public. So Trudeau will get away with it, which is why he's declining that.
But
Okay.
Pierre's Man Friday, who's also his advisor, has security clearance. He's taken it. So Pierre is saying, why don't you give it to my security advisor? They are refusing to give it to him, whereas everyone else who has a security advisor or a briefing advisor, etc., because all top leaders have it, have got it. Him, despite his assistant or colleague having it, they refuse to give it to him. They're saying, no, you haven't taken it. Now here is where the whole conflict in Canada is.
What are the
happening.
chances that he himself is on the take?
Very high. You know, there was that whole thing where he was taking holidays on that Richard Branson's island without payment or whatever. He's been using private jets for himself and whatnot. This man comes from a very, very corrupt background, from a very corrupt party. And like all left-wingers, they want to keep everybody else poor and take a lot of money
So there are
themselves.
very strong rumors that the caucus in the Liberal Party might just tell him to quit, which is even as we are recording this, there's rumors that he might be asked to quit.
And can I just say this? In the last 6 months, there have been at least 6 delegations that have come down from Canada to try to normalize the relationship through back channels. There was one, in fact, just 2 weeks back.
Official.
From semi-official, Labour affiliated, Liberal affiliated. I'll call them Labour because that's generally the spectrum that they are. There's nothing liberal about them. It's like the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea.
Yes, of course. Come on, it's absolutely democratic.
Yeah.
You've been there.
There's no
I've
more-
been there.
there's no
I've
country
never
more
felt
democratic.
freer than I have in North Korea, man. Like, God bless Kim Jong-un. Serious topic. These delegations came. Just the last one was about 2 weeks back. And they were like, the government's very serious. We want to normalize and this and that. The moment he realized there was a coup, all the normalization goes out of the window. Did you notice what the ambassador said in the CBC interview or CTV interview? That they gave us the request to come to Delhi on the 8th morning, handed in our passports. The flight was meant to leave in a few hours. Now, normally processing visas takes a week at least. They hadn't shared an agenda. So even if they weren't given that visa, they would have come to Delhi and said, nobody met us. Because, everybody in India is meant to drop whatever they do.
Because the
and in
white man's come.
Because the
Yeah.
white man is coming.
The master has come.
Now, I don't think the Indian message is getting through at all to normal Canadians. Okay? Because it seems everyone is just repeating the Canadian narrative.
I think
Even Pierre, incidentally, we shouldn't pin our
Hype him up.
hopes on the Conservative
hype
Party.
him up. In fact, the Conservatives were attending the Khalistan liberation referendum. Exact MPs who we were reaching out to. They were the ones attending this referendum.
But again,
The
which you have
2020.
been saying and which
2020.
Referendum
Yeah, yeah.
which the others have been saying on various debates that we shouldn't be calling them Khalistani
Yes.
terrorists.
Yeah,
yes.
that was a very good point.
They are organized criminals.
No.
Canadian,
The Canadian
The Canadian
They're
terrorists.
Canadian. So where is Khalistan? There is no Khalistan
And
on
if
the
it
globe.
exists in Canada.
Yeah.
Please call them Canadian terrorists. They
Yeah.
are not Don't legitimize
but
Khalistan.
I think the point which Abhijit makes is correct in a sense that we've tried to play it down. We've not tried to make too much of a fuss about it, notwithstanding the Ministry
It bole to?
this entire fracas with the
listing,
Chinese,
okay,
with
with the
with Chinese
Canadians.
Canadians, one in the same thing these days. With the Canadians, so despite the MEA, that release which they press release of theirs, there is a lot more we could have done and a lot more we should have done, including in terms of signaling. But every time you have senior people in government say that, look, people to people relations are perfectly fine and trade and commerce relations are perfectly fine. It's only a Liberal Party problem. You are actually trying to brush this entire problem under the carpet. And you are making a big mistake.
It never
you
worked with
have to
Pakistan.
deliver.
It's
You
not
have
gonna
to
work.
deliver a message to them that this kind of nonsense is not acceptable to India. And I think on that, by trying to play it really cool, we are messing up big time.
But do we have a Liberal Party / Canada problem, or do we have a Justin Trudeau problem?
We have a Canada problem.
Yeah.
Because
think-
this problem,
Across parties.
this problem is across parties. Let's look at the NDP, for example. Okay? If the NDP, I'm not exactly a fan of the RSS. I don't consider it to be an evil or anything, but I'm not, I don't necessarily subscribe to their worldview. But if the NDP, for example, is talking about declaring the RSS a terrorist organization, why shouldn't a party like the NDP be declared a terrorist organization in India and anybody associated with NDP be put on some kind of a blacklist by India? Number two, I know that the Congress party, when it said that why isn't the government giving a briefing in Parliament, was not doing it out of the pureness of their heart. But I think it was a great opening for the government to come out with its bat swinging, and a bureaucrat issuing a statement does not have the same impact. A leak in a newspaper does not have the same
As a
impact
discussion in
as a
Parliament.
statement in Parliament. You don't even have to have a discussion. You have a comprehensive statement. You list out the people you have named.
Yeah.
You give whatever evidence you can give in Parliament and how the Canadians have been behaving and how some of these other countries have been behaving to various requests that we have made. It would have a much more salutary impact than what we are trying to do right now.
Right.
You
So
know,
one
one
second, one
example,
second.
you can mix the salad and samosa.
This you
DJ
can have now.
Salad I'll have.
It's all vegetarian today.
Of course. Yeah, aa raha hai. Thank you.
So,
Can I add
just
something on
one
the
second, I want
Canadians?
to add something. For example, they got in Lawrence Bishnoi angle, Canada.
Yeah.
His boss or his contemporary, Goldie
Huh.
Brar, is in
Yeah.
Canada.
Huh.
India's been asking for him for the longest time. They've hidden him. He's gone underground now. He's in Canada. Everybody knows he was last in Canada. Goldie Brar actually is in Canada. He's responsible for the Sidhu Moosewala murder, everything. They've come out. He's hiding in Canada. Now they want to blame Lawrence Bishnoi, but his boss is in Canada. Why aren't they acting upon that?
So this whole gang war thing, Anand,
But I just want to add something, what Sushant said, that look, we should have been much more forthright and open about showing Canada its place. And leaders do that, not leak things to newspapers and all that. But I bring the example of Maldives. हमने तो Maldives के उस पे नहीं किया, तो Canada पे क्या करेंगे?
No. That's a totally different ball game.
Why?
I think there the diplomacy part has worked very well, bringing them back on track in the sense that even for them it was detrimental what they were doing. If he did that to win an election and then self-realization. Look, Sri Lanka has done the same at various points of time. Nepal has done the same. Bangladesh has done the same. It's all right. That's give and take. But Canada has become, I think, very, very individualistic. It's Justin Trudeau has taken this in a very personal point of view. And it's not as if the Canadians are very loving people, very gentle people who we can easily get along with. We've not had a problem with them. Yes, there is a Khalistan issue. That's separate. But Canadians, by and large, we send our children to study in the sense Indians, send their children to study in Canada, right? Why would you send your most precious possession to a country if you're not sure about the safety? Why did we not send to Australia for a long period of time? We were scared of racism in Australia, right? After some time, it started improving. Things started changing. And then Indians sent so many people to Australia. You send your children to study. As far as I'm concerned, the way I see it is, it's a Justin Trudeau problem.
Correct? It's not a Canada.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's sociologically.
That's my view, but of course.
It's sociologically much more complex. Understand first the nature of the migration. Okay. Normally to go to Canada, you have to write IELTS or something like that. 99% of the people who go from Punjab to Canada
We're talking about migration.
No,
Abhijit,
wait.
I'm talking about
I'm coming
trade.
then. One
I'm
second.
talking about defense cooperation.
Let me finish my point.
IT, everything.
These guys can't even spell English, leave alone speak English. Okay? 90% of them. Number one. This is exactly the same migration pattern as Italians and Irish to America in the 1800s. Heavily criminalized, heavily ghettoized, and a very, very important vote bank, number one. Number two.
Also, they need just a certificate
One second.
saying that we are victimized by the police is good enough. 50,000, 60,000 rupees.
The going rate is 5 lakhs.
Yeah. There's a political party
which
that gives the letter.
Everybody knows
Not Akali Dal. The other Akali
Whatever.
Dal. The other Akali Dal.
Man.
So all they need is a letter.
Okay, one
and
second.
we
Let me
get that.
finish. The second important thing we need to remember is, what did people-to-people contact with Pakistan get us? Nothing, no? So, people everywhere are sweet.
I don't know about
I
that.
have been to Gaza.
That's a two different issues.
No. Gazans and West Bankers are also very
We
sweet.
don't have a contiguous border with
we're not
Canada.
Territory with them.
So it
Pakistan
doesn't
is
matter
totally
how
different.
it doesn't matter how sweet the people are. Okay.
We are discussing.
We are very much discussing
territory
that.
with the
Yeah.
Canadians.
But Canada is not claiming our territory as Pakistan.
No, it does not
is.
matter, because they are giving sanctuary and support
To those who want to.
and space
To those
to
who
characters who want to break up India,
Correct.
who are actually responsible in transnational crime in India, who are responsible for human trafficking from India. They are funding terrorism, terror finance, all
And
kinds
terrorism
and
in Canada.
narcotics and narcotics
And terrorism in Canada.
and terrorism
therefore
in
this
Canada.
statement
And
should have
one second. In all these countries, if a third country, so supposing there's a spat between India and Canada, or a community in Canada and with India, and there's a third country which starts playing the fiddle out there, like the Pakistanis have been playing, the host country takes a very, very dim view of it. So I want to ask the Canadians, what have you done against the Pakistanis who have openly been hobnobbing with the Khalistanis?
That's true. And there's one more aspect, and I think this should have been raised by the Prime Minister, Home Minister, External Affairs. Exactly who was Nijjar? If Nijjar was this innocent plumber, why was he posing with AK-47s? Why was he rejected 3 times his citizenship? Why did he come on fake documents? Why was he on a no-fly list? And why was there secret agency briefing him? How many plumbers are
You forgot the most important question. After all that illegality, in violation of due process, who gave him citizenship?
Exactly.
Okay, one more thing. The same questions were put to that Nazi minister of Trudeau foreign minister.
There's
The
so many,
same
which
question
one?
was put to her. And just look at the roundabout. She never answered it. She kept talking about rule of law country.
But I have one
she was
question
asked a
to ask
specific
you.
question. Why was this guy put on a no-fly list if he was an innocent plumber?
Correct.
She doesn't answer the question.
She never answers who her grandfather was also.
Yeah.
We all know he ran the newspaper which used to literally point out who in Ukraine were Jews. They literally were the pivot core of the Holocaust in Ukraine. That is Cynthia. This thing.
you know,
And remember, most of the Holocaust was finished by 1942 with bayonets and bullets. Okay. And Cynthia's granddad was the one, he was the one shining the flashlight on who to kill. ऐसे ऐसे कचड़ा को कैबिनेट में रखा है. Pure utter trash.
And you know, you're seeing a number of social media posts saying,
But
who are
somebody
these
else's-
Khalistanis, who are these kachras, we should send them back. No, sorry. What do you mean
We
send
don't
them
want
back?
them back. We don't want
no,
them
no,
back. We don't want
and
them
they're not
back.
ours.
But
sorry,
listen,
you
when we-
gave them,
the
you gave them
ugliness
sanctuary.
quotient-
We're not sending back.
The ugliness quotient, both internal as well as external of these
The
Khalistanis,
BS that
is
you're
like
reading now, because suddenly they've realized, oh my God, this is kachra. Sorry, you are the kachra for bringing this
Yeah.
to your country.
And when we asked you to extradite them, you refused. You
No,
gave them a
we
citizenship.
don't want extradition randomly.
Yeah.
We want specific
Specific
people,
ones, yeah.
not because of, you know, you
Yeah.
first give sanctuary, you bring them along and saying, oh, we are the nice ones, white man's burden, we are taking all of you in. Fine, you take them in. You can't assimilate them. Your problem, not our problem anymore.
I think-
When we were sorting out our problem, you interfered, and you continue to interfere.
Bangladeshi journalist is.
Yeah, he's now the
He's now become an ambassador.
ambassador.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bangladeshi journalists used to keep asking
Oh,
anti-India
no.
questions. The White House has been made an
No,
ambassador.
I'm
he's
talking about the other one. I'm
He's
talking
the
about
one
who's
asking
going
for-
after
But
Sonia
I think,
Gandhi.
I
and-
think Congress should sue him because I think that guy seriously has a problem.
Salahuddin.
Whatever his name is. I think the guy
But can I
seriously
please
has-
ask my question?
हाँ, please.
कि कनाडा के प्रति हमने अपनी सारी वो दिखा दी है. Why is America, who's harboring Pannun, getting away with a feather on the knuckles?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
question to
I
Sushant.
think
I agree. So, I don't think the Canadians would have gone as far as they've gone, but for some nod and wink by the Americans, I think the Americans are really pissed off with the government out here because they are not obsequious enough. They are not subservient enough.
This Ukraine war has something to do with that?
Partly Ukraine war, a number of other things, and the way they've shafted us, for example, in Bangladesh, I can understand they would have had a certain position of their own, but look, if because we are present out there, we know how it'll play out. Which is why when we were saying that, listen, it's not that we have to endorse what Sheikh Hasina is doing, but, you know, let us not jump the gun and try and destabilize her government. What is now starting to happen in Bangladesh is not something which is going to be good for anybody in the region. Yeah. It's going to be destabilizing. But the Americans think that maybe they need to have some leverage over us. And look, this is how all great powers operate. They always keep some leverage over some other country to keep poking them, keep fingering them, which is why despite all the good relations between India and the United States over the last 20-25 years, have they even changed the maps on Kashmir? They've changed the maps when it comes to Arunachal. They've not done it in Kashmir. Why?
And you know this thing about asking the NSA chief to be summoned. You don't do that to a major friend or a emerging power.
Yeah, and
So,
also what
I mean, that's like
what they're doing with the whole Pannun affair thing. So
but हमारा reaction इतना soft क्यों है? That's the question.
So what Dr. Jaishankar says, and I think he's quite right on that, when he says that, look, you know, just because you think you are making a statement in a very smartly worded statement, everybody knows what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Now, if tomorrow, with all the threats which are going on, supposing a plane was actually to be bombed, okay, who would be blamed for it?
And your Tehseen is just,
I just landed.
He just landed.
And
I saw your message.
Yeah, and the fear was, what if the plane is one of those stupid tweets or the messages in the plane doesn't
but
I have to take it.
Tehseen, you know, it's in the back of our mind, right? When you, like, I boarded a flight a couple of days ago, and just as I was boarding, the airline that I was boarding had a threat. Right? There was a bomb threat. The airline, not the aircraft, but the airline. And I was boarding and I read this on Twitter. there's a sick fear in the pit of my stomach. You know, I'm worried at that stage. Have I sorted out my affairs that in case my plane blows up, have I sorted out, have I done my thing? This is a fear that
exactly
can
what
I be
Tehseen
there?
feels when he boards. He says, have I sorted out my affairs?
Yeah.
Can I just ask a very simple question? Can I ask a simple question?
Adding
मेरा दूसरा सवाल ही नहीं पूछा.
Affair के बाद no question. Affair के बाद no question.
सबका साथ सबका विकास. Do you believe in this Vikas thing?
No, but
Believe in it, what? Matlab, in what?
We can't throw him
just
under
for
the
those who don't know about
Vikas
it, this
Yadav.
Vikas, you need to specify. It's about
Vikas.
this
Vikas
hitman Vikas Yadav, who's
CRPF.
supposed to be from the CRPF,
Who's become the fall guy.
seconded to the RAW, the Indian intelligence. There's a lot of comments which we get कि आप लोग ना you're talking in riddles and ये internal information है. We don't know much about it. So this when he said
he is
we
a
should talk about
CRPF,
this
he is a
because
CRPF man. So
again, this is
and
all
is he real?
nobody really
And
knows.
now
It's all some
But-
document
but
has
let's-
come out
but
that
let's
he was
assume,
seconded.
I'm saying let's assume all of this is true. I'm playing the devil's advocate.
Abhijit
Okay, 1
believes
minute.
it.
Let me just complete. It
He
is
said
this
so.
person who's from the CRPF, supposedly seconded to the external intelligence wing called the RAW of India, which is supposed to have conducted a hit job on Pannun, who is in America and an American citizen.
American
did
Canadian.
Huh?
He's both. He's
American
twin
Canadian.
citizenship.
Okay, American
and
and Canadian, and that plot was foiled. You can Google the information, you can find out everything. So Anand's question was to Sushant to ask that does he believe that this plot ever fructified? Did it happen? Was there something
And
that he
have
did?
we reacted the correct way?
Yeah.
So look, there are a couple of things out here. One, if assuming there was an operation which was being carried out by this particular guy, when operations like this go south, people are disavowed. It's the done thing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether anybody likes it or not, it's the done thing. And what you do is you
Do
try
you have
and
an example of this?
Yeah, Madhya, nothing comes offhand to mind, but yes,
normal.
you actually, it's a very normal thing. You actually
Every Akshay Kumar film that you have seen.
हाँ मतलब कि वो अब वो एक उसकी भी थी जॉन अब्राहम की भी फिल्म थी कि वो
नहीं फिल्म छोड़ो
No,
but
but
as a
there have
rule
been, yeah.
if you get caught you are disowned. So for example, take the case of the
Sarabjit
two
Singh.
Johns. Take
Was
the
it?
case of the two Johns in or the two Michaels, is it?
No, have you seen
Michaels
Munich?
in Canada.
Have you seen
Yes,
Munich?
yes, yes.
The film. So that guy was supposedly working for the Mossad, but when he sent on this operation, all traces of him are gone. He's not going to get any funding. He's not going. It's all over, and then he goes on this mission. He goes on the
But he's
mission.
not caught, no?
If he's caught, if he gets caught, or if he fails in his mission, or if he runs away, whatever, it's over. There's no linkage.
No, there's a
That
difference
happens.
there. So that I can understand,
Yeah.
obviously. But can you give me an example where someone who's gone on such a mission is actually caught and then
Yes,
this
so many
Sarabjit ke
Americans-
sath hua na?
Why?
Do you remember that
That's what
Sarabjit case?
So many Americans
So
are
many.
caught, for
Yeah.
example, either in China or in
Oh yeah, that
in
North
Russia.
Korean, the South Korean thing. Yeah.
It happens all the time, right?
Right.
So one
And
is
then
that
you do a prisoner exchange,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
you just let them
Yes.
rot there. You don't
ठीक
want
है,
to take them
or
back,
you,
whatever.
or you let things cool down
Yeah.
before you work on the back channel and you get
Got
people
it,
out.
yeah.
So one is that.
Qatar.
And
Qatar.
you do
Remember, we
this
got- and
without
success,
admission.
kudos to the government.
You do it without admission
admission.
that it was an operation. You do it that it's my citizen, I'm getting
Yeah.
him back. You don't admit to whatever. Like there's Kulbhushan Jadhav sitting in Pakistan. We're not admitting that
But
he was
again-
an agent on work.
So
but
again,
he was an
there
ex-naval
has-
officer. So India wants consular access and wants him back.
But
That's
Smita,
it.
उसमें एक और भी issue है. कई बारी what happens, and this I think the RAW needs to look into its own procedures and how they do stuff. A lot of times there is this gung-ho attitude among some of these characters that मैं कर दूंगा, उसके बाद अगर तो success हुई तो मैं राजा, नहीं हुई तो क्या nothing will
होता
happen.
है.
It was precisely to protect these officers that Manish Tiwari had introduced the intelligence reform
Yes.
bill. And it was Raw that shot it down because, well,
Okay, so I've read that and I don't agree with it.
There are
because,
big problems in that bill.
Parliamentary committee. You've
Know
seen
how
what
of
happened
that.
yesterday
Yeah.
in that parliamentary committee
Yeah.
for the
if,
Waqf
if
bill.
your friend, if your great friend from a
Birkin.
party in the east is a member of that
Yeah, what
parliamentary
will you do?
committee, then
Varkanista.
Somebody broke a bottle.
Can I break this glass to demonstrate?
Just not on my head.
यहाँ पर 4 और पड़ेंगे तेरे को. हम लोग बड़े polite लोग नहीं हैं.
हाँ, कोई
this is a
duck
green
नहीं
glass.
करेगा पहली बात.
Which is even more waqf symbolic.
अभिजीत, think about it. तू मद्रासी है, यहाँ 2 पंजाबी बैठे हुए हैं.
एक्सक्यूज मी, सुशांत एक है, दूसरा कौन?
आप हैं.
I challenge you, you fraud. एक sentence तू तमिल में
Arey,
बोल.
we had this last time.
Can't
Did you
speak
hear
a
what
word of
Udayanidhi
Tamil.
Moving
said?
swiftly on.
Did you hear what Udayanidhi Stalin said? He said, please only
Smita,
Tamil
the
names.
salad was gorgeous.
Thank you very
No, no,
much.
thank you, Nick. Can I have one more?
Can I have
It
some
warms
more?
the cockles of
Yeah.
my heart. Yes, can we have some more salad,
we have-
please?
But the salad was like
Can,
outstanding.
can we
very good.
rename ourselves as a salad caucus?
Salad
Yes,
caucus.
yes, yes, absolutely. There are no rules.
Give us an
that's it.
international. अब तो हम international हैं.
Salad.
International खिलाड़ी हैं.
How international?
Samosa salad caucus.
Samosa. चलो.
No,
How
please.
about we, to sound classy, we make it Italian? Caucaso di insalata.
Insalata is not just salad.
Yeah.
Insalata is salad.
Is salad. Okay. So but we should
And they have
Indianize
this-
it,
they have
no?
the
Salad.
samosa type
Salad.
in Italian.
Salad बना दो.
हाँ,
ना?
salad.
Ravioli.
नहीं,
but-
कोई
but-
salad
but-
बना के.
can we-
Salad is only cucumber and tomato chopped with onions.
Can
no?
we come back to Vikash?
हाँ,
दिख रहा है
Vikash,
आपको?
okay,
Vikash
let's
कहाँ है?
come
Vikash
back.
कहाँ है? So एक part आपने आंसर कर दिया. The second part is more important. Have we come out of this looking good or have we embarrassed ourselves?
It's still work in progress. I think what we are trying to do is trying to limit the damage, and there are questions out there because I think what the
No,
way
but
we are
Padi-
एक minute, the way we are looking at it, we are saying that look, our relationship with countries like the United States and others are much beyond this. This is a minor issue as far as we are concerned between us and the Americans. The Americans, or at least a section among the Americans, seem to be constantly using it to, rub our nose a bit in the dust. And that is somewhere along the line going to lead to a pushback. And I would really hope that it doesn't come down to that.
So here's the question, because that's added to that. Should we have acted to make sure all this did not, the Americans didn't make all this public? That's the question.
No, that
Normally they should not have. Normally they don't. Most countries don't do this. If they find out about something like this, they will clamp down, they will have a quiet word with you and they'll ask you to lay
Is
off
that our
and not
failure
do it
or
again.
Is that our failure or they just...
I think the
thought-
Americans
I
deliberately
think there's a
did it.
slight thing here. We're making the same mistake that the Western press makes, where a Kerala law and order situation is foisted on the central government. Remember, a lot of this was done by the New York DA's office.
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah,
And
they
if-
file a charge sheet.
And if in
And
November
they file a
it's
charge
Trump
sheet.
who
Yeah.
wins,
Yeah.
that guy is Tata bye bye.
It's
Okay, Tata bye bye.
Right. So there's also this sort of federalism because we're both federal countries. We understand how law and order works. Okay. But the Americans at least have been a lot more responsible than the
Yeah,
Canadians.
Much more.
They had actual evidence which they gave to us. Okay. And the way their justice system works is people have to get elected to office. So every वो प्रीत भरारा था ना जिसने देवयानी को जेल में डाला था खोबरागड़े को. So it's like that कि उनको भी ये sort of grandstanding करना पड़ता है. So a local Justin Trudeau, but unlike Justin Trudeau, they actually had some evidence, and it was managed very well
Yeah.
by the Americans.
By the Biden administration.
As much as they
But
could.
but
But
look,
at
one
that
second,
time-
I
Abhijit,
think it
एक
was-
minute. The whole case was actually a FBI thing. So
DEA.
DEA, but that's a federal.
वो check
it's
वाला
not a state.
angle आया
It,
ना?
Yeah,
it does
that's
not
like
come
even
under the state.
2611 में वो
But
DEA
but
था.
comes
check,
DEA
check
office.
angle was because of
It's-
DA. So he's
yes.
right.
No, so it was DEA
it comes-
and the
so,
FBI got
a
into
state
the act.
operation
Yeah.
comes into jurisdictional issues. Okay, you have to keep NYPD in loop. The prosecution will be done by NYPD, etc.
They're much more federal than we are.
Yeah, but maybe
And
once,
the
they
charge
had,
sheet was
once they had
actually
come
a-
out with the information, they'd got the information, they'd got the intelligence, maybe at that point of time
Yeah,
they
I
could
think
have
we
dealt
should
with
have-
it differently. But I think they said, okay, fine, let's just shaft the Indians a little bit on this.
Tell me, has this, what this has done, ruined, no, I don't know for forever, but for some period of time, India-Canada relations? India-US relations, since he mentions Khobragade, we are almost at that level where there is too much of almost we're not okay.
Not yet.
But it's
Not
affected
yet.
us.
Yeah.
And then
No, but
the
that
Indian Prime
defense
Minister
deal is off with Canada. What
But
is-
with Canada.
Yeah, but not with no. We are buying their drones.
On the
America's
day they were
drones.
giving the indictment, we were signing that other agreement.
Yeah.
Of,
So America-US
Iran?
relations impacted, America-Canada relations impacted because of this Khalistan issue. I'm broadly saying Khalistan issue because it's regarding Nijjar and Pannun. And then Indian Prime Minister goes to Kazan, and this is the picture that comes out of BRICS. How are G20 countries looking at this? How do you think they are looking, and how are Indians seeing this?
G20 तो इसमें ही है यार
It's a
सारा.
little confusing for Indians too. अब Chinese हमारे दुश्मन है कि हमारे दोस्त है? अमेरिका हमारा दोस्त है कि नहीं है? अब हम पुतिन के साथ हाथ
यार,
मिला रहे हैं,
मेरी
क्या
बात
कर रहे हैं?
सुनो.
So what is this? हाँ.
इन डिप्लोमेसी आपका कोई दोस्त नहीं है. ठीक है ना?
कोई दुश्मन नहीं है.
दुश्मन तो हैं.
For periods of time.
There is no friend in international relations. Yes, we have good relations with the Americans, relations which we value and we cherish.
Yeah.
But let's not kid ourselves for a moment that the Americans are friends of ours. They're not. They're not even friends of their closest allies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be
I mean,
very
they were
clear.
spying
about
on
it.
Angela Merkel, man.
Yeah, no, they have a very clear
Kissinger's
mindset.
golden quote: "To be America's enemy is dangerous, but to be America's friend is fatal."
But no.
But it's not America's friends for whom it's fatal. It's to be an
it's
American lackey that
transactional
is
at
fatal.
every point of time. How do you see when you see BRICS? Did you at any point of time think that what is happening? And then there's the border situation with boundary situation with China, which I'll come to. But when you see these pictures, does it feel that okay, we are on the right track or we are backtracking?
Totally as a layman. That's why I can never be a diplomat. But I did not want our representation to go for SCO. I think China has escaped absolute murder. They wreaked havoc on the world through COVID, economy, lives, everything. They killed our soldiers. They've had literally no price to pay for anything. And, in terms of our trade, with China, it's just ballooned to $110 billion now. The deficit is more than $100 billion. Do you do that to a country where for 4 years you've been saying A, Atmanirbharta, and B, that China is our enemy? You don't do that sort of thing. So, as I say, diplomatically you can always rationalize and say, look, we need China, we need this, we need that, we need all that stuff. But
To put it very simply, India's yearning ambitions are very at odds with its actual earning power.
Okay, one second. अब वो इडली आ रहा है next.
Rava idlis.
तो लेगा?
For example, जैसे मैं rationalization की बात कर रहा था, as a layman, many people said कि जो नुपुर के बाद हुआ, we kind of apologized to Qatar and all. The people who would rationalize would say अगर वो नहीं किया होता, तो फिर जो हमारे death row पे थे 5 Indians, वो वापस नहीं आते. So
8.
No, rationalize करना पड़ता is my view. It has to be done. And Nupur is back. Okay, 1 saal, 2 saal, she was out. Very sad that what happened. Shouldn't have happened because of certain reasons. But the point is that we have much more at stake.
So, coming to this first, good. Iran and Saudi, so that works for India in the BRICS. They've come in on board, they're the new members. But I think for me, the defining thing of BRICS is, and there's a pattern to this, Sushant, you can help me. Before every big summit that's happened, multi-nation summit that's happened, India and China sorted out differences.
Not always.
Yeah, it's happened 3 times. It's happened in 2020. It's happened before the SCO in 2022, and now it's happened 2024. So the agreement came out, though we don't have all the details, but it's a fairly good agreement. So I think there is some amount of rationalization. For me, this actually, unlike him, it works that 2 big neighbors are understanding, though we are awaiting the details, that finally that entire issue at Ladakh seems to be over. Now you can give and take that, look, we can't patrol till here, they can't patrol till here, this will be a buffer zone, we used to patrol, that is, but ultimately there's also one more thing that's come in now in this new agreement, that their army, when they patrol in what is perceived to be their area, so we patrol in what is perceived to be their area. We will notify, and you're only allowed to patrol twice a month.
So can you please counsel Rahul Gandhi on this? Because
So
he's going to come out with something.
Once again,
this is what the army chief said. Tehseen, you can read it out.
Yeah. So in the first remarks on the agreement between New Delhi and Beijing over restoration of patrolling rights along the LOAC, the Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has underlined the need for the Indian Army and the Chinese PLA to first restore trust in each other by not creeping into the buffer zone. So this has been agreed upon. So therefore, out now they'll have to tell you in advance who's coming and what is the patrol. And this has been limited to 14 people.
Disengagement, de-escalation, and normal
And it's gone back to
management
the
will
status
happen
quo.
later.
Much
It's
later.
not immediate, but first we have to. And he also said that restore trust.
Yes.
Before trust is not restored, now that itself is a big ask.
You know, because the Chinese in the south of Ladakh were almost close to what you could say is some of our Indian territory. There's also a major military camp there, about a kilometer apart. For them now to go back, so you can say, look, we are not patrolling as much, they are not patrolling as much. But now with them having to tell us in advance, only 14 people allowed, only twice a month, that will reduce any clashes happening. I think this is good. I think big neighbors should not fight. We continue to have our differences with China. We'll sort them out. But I think this is
But
good.
Tehseen, as soon as Parliament opens, I think Abhijit, Abhijit and Anand will also testify to this. As soon as Parliament opens, the Congress party is going to go hammer and tongs.
Can I get an
so that's
answer to you
970
that I will amplify every time there is a dissociation from the truth. Do you or do you not believe that Prime Minister Modi was right when he said we have not ceded even an inch of our territory? Yes or no?
That I don't.
It's slightly complex. It cannot be yes or no answer. Because if we are, for example, not patrolling up to finger 8, which we used to, I'm just saying this in simple terms so they understand.
How do you
I'm not-
define your own territory?
Yeah, how do you... So then have you given up claims? But then his question is, how do you define your own territory? Then what about their claims till finger 1? So I think, so now you're saying we restrict ourselves to finger 2, they restrict themselves to finger 8, and that becomes a buffer zone. Now you have two ways of looking at it. You say, look, we've given up our claim on our territory. Okay. But that also means you don't lose life. So that 970 square...
No, how far are you going to keep giving up your claims
to not lose life.
Now,
not lose life?
the point to that is, how far do you keep giving up your claims so to not lose life?
So my big problem is, even I am guilty of it. My big problem is that when we keep, I don't hear the Chinese say this. I only hear the Indians say this, differing perceptions of the LAC, right? So, and we keep talking about, this is our claim line, this is the Chinese claim line. Have the Chinese ever said that this is the Indian claim line? Right? I think
Badmaash
we are badmaash nahi hai yaar. It is our colonized mind, our subjugated mind, which is still to break out of that mold in which it has been for hundreds of years now, right? So we keep giving a certain leeway to the other side, and I can't understand why we do this. So when we say that
Cutting across parties.
it's a Indian malady, it's not a party malady, right? It's an Indian malady. And this is a problem because we keep, in a manner of speaking, shooting ourselves in the foot by also articulating the position of the other side.
Yeah.
And I think that is, it's so brainless that it's not funny. On this whole thing.
Can I ask you something to it? We had the heights at Kailash Heights, we occupied the heights after the Chinese came in. We were in a position of greater strength to negotiate. So then what you are saying is we should have been slightly more tougher rather than giving up our claims. Is that what you're saying?
No.
In layman terms.
A lot of people have a big problem in what the agreement was struck when we capped the Kailash Heights, because that is when the Chinese realized that they now need to come to the table, right? And should we have given up those heights for the agreement that was struck? And this is the other problem. And I'll take a minute and a half for this, because I want to link it up with something else which is a rumor right now but might well be true. We have this proclivity of, one, trying to get solutions to problems for which there are no solutions. Secondly, we also have this proclivity of, for very minor gains, giving up very major concessions.
Yes. Correct.
Right? And I'll give an example of that. Now, the SCO summit takes place. There are these Indian journalists who go, who have nothing to do with SCO, who have not reported anything on what was decided in SCO. It's everything about Nawaz Sharif. What is Nawaz Sharif's worth in Pakistan today? Nobody knows. But apparently the Ministry of External Affairs thinks Nawaz Sharif has said some very nice things. You keep hearing Pakistanis say nice things without meaning anything. And even if they mean something, they're going to do damn all about it. Or they can do damn all about it. So one is that situation. माहौल अच्छा बन गया तो हम बड़े खुश हो गए. ठीक है? We are such dunces. Now suddenly, yesterday I'm hearing, this is reported, I think by ABP Live and a couple of other people, that India has decided not to veto Pakistan's entry into BRICS.
What?
And
Why?
I have still a few here left.
Are you
and
kidding me?
Come on.
Was it BRICS or Commonwealth?
BRICS. In BRICS.
Okay.
In the BRICS, right? And I am, whatever little hair is left, I want to pull it out of sheer exasperation at the sheer stupidity if we were going to do something like that. And why would we do it? Mahal acha banega, which is what we have done in the past.
Crazy.
When the Chinese wanted to enter WTO, every big economy in the world negotiated with them.
Correct.
Right? Took concessions for them for agreeing to let them in, because in WTO it has to be by consensus.
Correct.
India said, आओ जी, आइए आप, हमको तो कुछ नहीं चाहिए, हम तो भाई हैं. We are so stupid.
Listen,
Nehruvian mentality.
It's a report in the Tribune. So one
It's
knows
not
who,
Nehru.
who is in
No.
Indian
The
mentality.
report, the news was broken by ABP.
It must be a plant by
No.
Dawn.
It's by this lady
By
journalist.
Dawn, which is the
No, I'll tell you. I
Pakistani
think
paper.
it's Nayanama Basu who has broken this story. I read it last night and it was exasperating.
It's crazy.
Although it's just 2 sentences, which is the rest of it is all padding in that story. But this is what it was. And my point is that, okay, I will endorse your entry into BRICS because you are desperate to come into it. What's in it for me? If you are going to give me an that ambassadorships will be restored, then I am the biggest idiot in the world. If it is about कि माहौल अच्छा बनेगा, I should simply shut down MEA and Ministry of Defence and hand over the keys of Lal Killa to the Pakistanis, right? If it is about the Pakistanis agreeing that, okay, fine, we are not going to talk about Kashmir anymore, then yes, make a concession. If it is something substantive, make a concession. What are we going to make a concession for? So if you have a leverage, why would you want to throw it away? And this is why I have a big problem in how we even negotiate with the Chinese.
Right. But
You
again,
know,
coming
I've
to-
never
You know
been.
how they've
You
come
know,
up-
I've never been a fan of the MEA, right?
You've not
Listen,
been a fan
no.
of
You are
anybody
not a fan
except
of
me.
anyone.
It's not.
But
One second.
especially
I'm
not
just
the
looking
MEA.
at the article. Basically, there is one person called Jagannath Panda, head of the Stockholm Center for South Asian and Indo.
ये कौन
One
सी-
sec. Can I just complete?
पहले मेरे को ये बताओ कहाँ से what is
Can
this?
I, ABP, yaar.
ये ABP Live
So
वाली
what
जो
I
story
am
है.
saying is that there is what the article is about one person who was there, who was quoted on the sidelines of the BRICS summit, and that person says that, however, one of the key takeaways of the summit is likely to be India's green signal to Pakistan's long pending bid for membership. That's all it is. So, please
But the
understand there's a
foreign
lot
secretary-
of clickbaiting that happens when these people write articles.
This
So which is why I
against
said,
India's
but the
interest.
foreign secretary, Vikram Misri, who's a very bright guy,
Yeah.
has also said India is not obstructing expansion of BRICS anymore.
No,
Now,
no.
what does it mean? Because we know who are the guys who have applied for
No, no,
membership of the
Argentina,
BRICS.
etc.
And then the Russians have been saying that we are ready to get the Pakistanis into BRICS. The
So
Russian
we'll have a
deputy
Russia,
PM
China,
when he went.
Pakistan access in BRICS.
No, one second. So, if my point is that
It's
if
time to
I
pull
have
your
a
wig
veto,
out.
regardless of what somebody tells me, I should exercise my veto, na? Why am I so?
Giving away my sovereign veto.
Okay, no, I must
Look, if you really want to get reductivist about this, BRIC कहीं जाने वाला नहीं है.
अबे यार, it's not an issue कि जाने वाला है कि नहीं. It's not even about that. Even I know, you know, everybody knows कि कहीं
I
नहीं
mean,
जाना.
BRICS is just hot air.
It's a
brick.
BRICS is a
brick
brick
here
which
is
you can
worth
hit
more
on your
than
head
Look,
and
it's like
just knock
saying
yourself out.
Gymkhana Club membership क्या मिलता है वहाँ पे?
अरे यार,
But
जिमखाना में ये मेंबर है. इसको eclairs और मटन सैंडविच मिलता
देखो
है.
यार, मुझे तो
Did you vote?
मुझे मेंबरशिप दहेज में मिली है.
He'd much
मेरी
rather
बीवी है
agree
member,
to
मैं नहीं हूँ.
Pakistan entering BRICS than Gymkhana membership.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say is that जिनके पास है membership, वो they don't want the riffraff to come in.
Obviously.
So वो उसको बंद करके रखते हैं, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
भाई,
It's
साउथ
like that.
अफ्रीका से
Why-
बड़ा रिफ्रैफ कौन है इसमें?
So why
पूरा
allow?
economic meltdown
So
है.
why allow outsiders to come? Basically, you want that exclusivity. तो अगर हम membership लेके बैठे हैं, not हम in the sense I don't have membership of Gymkhana. Let me put a disclaimer. But
Only
अगर
IIC.
कोई अगर बैठे हुए
Yes,
हैं,
golf
Delhi
club
golf
के
club.
member
Yeah,
है.
golf club
don't.
member.
Gymkhana, what's
All
Gymkhana?
the
I
posh clubs in Delhi.
You're
Smita is a
Canadian.
member.
You know,
I am
you
not.
know, before I got to know her, I used to see her at Delhi Golf Club. She used to tee off in the morning every Sunday.
Wow.
ये देखो डिसइंफॉर्मेशन और हम दोनों
What's
बदनाम
your
हैं।
handicap?
हम दोनों बदनाम
Do you play as
हैं।
good as Trump?
Her handicap is her friends.
जब देखो चले आते हैं.
No. Of all the sports that I do play,
Talking of
golf
Trump,
is not there.
I think high
हाँ,
time we move to
हाँ,
American.
What's going to
industry.
happen with हम लोग इंटरनेशनल अफेयर्स में ही अटके हुए हैं, डोमेस्टिक पे भी आना है।
डोमेस्टिक पर बात करते हैं।
हाँ, जो समोसा आएगा तो द सेकंड राउंड।
Abhijit has been consistently saying कि ट्रम्प हारेगा.
हारेगा.
Trump's losing.
I'm election panotti, so everything
हाँ,
I said.
he's predicted
Why don't
every
we get-
election
I thought you
wrong.
meant
Why don't
it.
we get Yogendra Yadav?
I do mean Trump will lose.
Yogendra Yadav ji has to.
No, 1 minute.
I want
He's
Yogendra
got a
Yadav
point.
ji.
He's
If-
got a point. Who should predict the
Yogendra
American
Yadav.
election?
Yogendra.
Yogendra Yadav. sir.
Yeah.
There'll be a tsunami of support
Yeah.
or a
Aandhi.
Aandhi of
Aandhi.
support.
Or ya hawa.
Or hawa.
Yeah, hawa.
Yeah.
Is there a tsunami, hawa, Aandhi? What is there? We have to ask the.
It has to be Hawa because tsunami.
कमला जी के सपोर्ट में पूरा आंधी चल रहा है, हरिकेन चल
Please
रहा
speak
है.
like Yogendra.
You have to
No,
speak
please,
like.
हाँ.
देखिए पूरी सुनामी लोग कहेंगे सुनामी इतनी धीरे आएगी तो भाई सुनामी नहीं कहेंगे ना, हवा कहेंगे उसको. जल्दी जल्दी लाओ.
वैसे तो मेरा उनसे बहुत गहरा संबंध है बचपन का. मैं बचपन में अमेरिकन एक्टिविस्ट था.
सलीम लंगड़े पे मत रो.
That's a film. Just to make it clear.
Yes, that's a film.
He was beaten up the other day, and I was like, it was actually going to happen.
In my
Salim
home
Langda.
state of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
No, but
That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah, but वो
But
that
generally,
is not a.
Maharashtrians don't tolerate
नहीं, but
nonsense.
वो
Those
ये
two
जो-
statements are not connected.
हम violence पे
We don't
विश्वास
हाँ,
नहीं
नहीं
रखते.
नहीं I
But the
don't.
first time, just to tell you,
but he
the
not
first-
hired them to be.
वो भी हो
meeting
सकता है
them.
वैसे.
अच्छा,
बहुत
just
बड़ी
to
बात
verify.
नहीं है.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's
Yeah, but it's true. He's the. I mean, of course, we have to get to that point about the exit polls. कितनी शर्मनाक बात हुई है यार. The 2024 elections. I mean, it was followed by this Haryana polls. I mean, it was Anand and I were on one thing where it had been called. Haryana
Yeah.
was given.
I was with you.
Yeah, you were
I was with you.
And we're calling out this election.
It was unbelievable.
उतना तो
नहीं,
मैंने
but-
भी विश्वास नहीं किया.
2015
ये
it
कौन सा
happened in
panel था?
Bihar.
मत बात करो.
Smita, 2015 it happened in Bihar. When the
Yeah.
initial
Yeah.
results came out, BJP started doing dhol dhamaka and celebrating, and then suddenly,
Yeah.
10 बजे के बाद जो result आने शुरू हुए, it was a.
But I have to
यहाँ
tell you
पे
the
कांग्रेस
difference in the
वाले ढोल वालों को
Bihar.
पैसे दे के
No,
भगा
but I have to tell you the difference in the Bihar thing and our panel. Our panel we are still very.
ये शुक्र कर कांग्रेस वालों ने उनको पैसे दे दिए थे.
हाँ, वो कह रहे थे हाँ. देखिए
नहीं,
पैसे दे के
अच्छा,
हमें
बोल
बोला.
के दो तहसीन
नहीं,
को,
but I'll tell you the difference in our panel and the Bihar panel, which was on NDTV. Those days NDTV. Our panel we are still restrained. None of us called it or whatever. In the 2015 panel, there was a senior journalist. So he started giving reasons why Nitish lost. So he started explaining Nitish lost, he flipped from BJP, he came to the
On
Mahagathbandhan.
NDTV.
On
I
NDTV.
remember.
He started giving all the reasons. He gave absolute reasons like Yogendra ji why Nitish ji lost. Except 10 o'clock when it changed, 10:01 he was giving reasons why Nitish ji won.
No, but-
Exactly.
No, Tehseen, this is the same thing. When the exit polls came and it showed that Haryana, there's no way. And also all the ground reporters had said that there was so much anger against Khattar Saab. So it will be an anti-BJP vote because they were against Khattar ji. So, you know, all of us were saying that when BJP realized that people are annoyed with Khattar, then why continue with keeping him out there? Okay, last minute change the chief minister
सारे
and
इलेक्शन के
everything.
सरप्राइज का एक रेडीमेड सोल्यूशन पता है क्या होता है? आरएसएस ने मदद करी इस बार.
हाँ.
मैं but वो factor है.
But
नहीं
Abhijit
तो
and I have
वो
a
कुछ
theory.
इलेक्शंस में होता है, कुछ पे नहीं होता.
They went down to the.
And in 2024 they didn't.
They did not.
They didn't.
They did not.
Also,
They actually did not.
In many areas they
In
didn't.
most areas they did not.
also partly because of Nadda ji's statement that they were upset
No,
by
no,
a
no.
lot
No,
of
that was too
Nadda ji
late.
was the symptom. The cause was much deeper. The BJP itself had asked for a divorce. Because that's always been the thing. We call it divorce, but the cutting of the umbilical cord. So, ठीक है. So, but the RSS did not come out in campaign at all in 2020.
But we have another theory also. You and I have another theory. And this theory is these, it's what's now starting to happen. I think it's very worrying, is you have all these YouTube channels that are making the mahol.
Yeah.
So these exit poll people believe that mahol.
Yeah.
And that is now worrying because there's so much of it riding on it. I think we should now get to a point, and you guys in the media, where if someone's giving out exit poll, please give transparent data, please verifiable data, because all of this is happening on Mahol.
अगर हम actually देखें how much an exit poll costs and the number of exit polls that are there, you just cannot have it. Even calling on the phone, you can't have the kind of manpower, the kind of resources you need for that kind of exit poll. This is absolute nonsense, you know. So all those, I mean, we are not, disclaimer, we are not into exit polls at all, but still, I think
Smita,
this is ridiculous.
There's also a bigger problem. It's not just what exit polls are predicting. Look, I don't think a guy, a bona fide exit poll company or a polling company will deliberately put out wrong data because its credibility is on the line. But here is the problem. Bottom line is, there is no way anybody can call an election in India anymore.
That's true.
If you can't call the 2024 election, the general election or the Haryana election, right, or the earlier ones in UP, for example, where, you know, people were saying the BJP will come fourth, and, you know, if you can't read, your journalists or people on the ground are not able to read the public mood
But
anymore.
there is a journalist who was with us who's always traveling and...
Yeah. Going into everything and pretends to be the only journalist who's doing ground reporting.
And the question, but the question is, whom does that he or her talk to?
To their biradri.
So
their...
goes to one constituency, speaks to
one group of people.
Not group. One person who's contesting the election, and for about 5 hours kept asking उस constituency का क्या निकला. मतलब एक constituency को लेके तुम पकड़े हो, and you see, I go and do ground reporting. हम लोग लल्लू हैं जो जाके ground reporting कर रहे हैं. I mean, really.
So, bottom line, nobody can read an election anymore. And frankly speaking, which is why mainstream media is losing its credibility like it's nobody's business.
The only credible thing on media right now is Delhi media gossip. Hashtag Delhi media.
I endorse this.
Because it's not gossip. It is.
Is that truth?
It is
Master's
reporting of premature facts.
Correct.
Premature
facts.
It's not the premature reporting of facts, it's the reporting of premature facts.
So that means
And remember the amount of effort that goes into it. Everything is triple verified. Remember,
Frugal meal also go into it, right?
Remember, a certain journalist,
do it for a lot
certain
of honor.
journalist who got arrested, I had predicted it way back in January.
Yeah, you did.
And all my sources were saying this.
Is he out on bail yet, or is he?
Who?
The journalist.
We don't know who you're talking about.
Just checking.
But I cross-checked this with Abhijit.
Achha, really?
He said, he told me the name in Jan.
And 2 days before a certain grand old lady newspaper reported it, I had said कि इसने what are all the charges against the person,
and also you know about people's divorces, second marriages, you know about people's affairs, सब कुछ डाल जाता है यार. ये पता नहीं कैसे पता लगता है.
देखो इसकी जो intelligence network है ना,
we should be used.
IB comes nowhere close to him.
No, but hang on, 1 second. Who beat him? Both of us. We were on the international khiladi list, and they ignored this. So please.
But like a good secret agent, you
that
guys
is all,
got exposed and he remained hidden.
you two got caught, bro.
Point.
Abhijit is still...
You two are the failed Vikas Yadav. I am the successful handler
Akhilesh
of
Nijjar.
Yes.
No, but on exit poll, can I just complete one thing? When you're saying credibility is on the line, please remember, it's not that media is discovering something which is a scientific fact. Ultimately, everything is based on the question you're asking the guy, the voter.
Yeah,
he
if
will
you're
lie.
asking the wrong question, then yes.
No,
Yeah.
or
Why will
if
the
he's
voters speak
telling
the truth?
an
Why
Exactly.
will the voters
क्या
speak the truth?
incentive है?
Why would a
तो उसमें मीडिया की
SC
भी
or a
इतनी भी
Muslim
बड़ी गलती
speak the
मत समझो
truth?
ना, मतलब
And
it's
also
based
the way a person is dressed ना, वो सोचता है कि अच्छा तू मेरे से पूछने आया है, क्यों? तो होता कौन है? आजा बेटा मैं झूठ बताता हूँ तेरे को. A number of people, you know,
जैसे consistently BJP says हमें ना 15-16% वोट शेयर मुस्लिम constituency में मिलने वाला है every time.
And this is the kind of
0.1%
in India, people are generally very wary of telling their political choices to an
It's
unknown
not
party.
an India. Hillary Clinton का क्या
नहीं,
हुआ?
नहीं, एक मिनट.
Every survey
वो rare
said
था,
she's
वो
winning.
rare. That's
नहीं, नहीं,
rare.
but in that particular case, I don't trust the. हम लोग again हमारी assumption है कि American media is above board. They do everything transparently,
if,
which is all nonsense, right?
I think
their media is even more sold out and more
crazy.
Modi media and more into taking handouts like this Gary shit guy. Gary what? She.
Washington
Jerry
Post.
Shee.
Jerry Shee, whatever the guy is.
Washington Post.
Okay, look at the kind of bullshit he publishes, right?
Khan Market Gang.
Right. So if you look at their
Not just
media,
Khan
their
Market gang.
reportage,
He took the reporting of a whack job on Twitter who's been sacked repeatedly from his job and passed it off as an exclusive story. Further taken, that those findings were then repeated on Pakistan Defense, some think tank, and then he published it exclusive. And just because it's NYT or WAPO, everybody's like, oh, we have to comment on this because it's the newspaper of record.
Yes, so this is just what I'm saying. That if this kind of stuff gets published in this, like now this Washington Post, clearly it's been submitted to them
but they
by
have
the
egg on their face,
Canadians.
na? They have egg on their face.
I don't know. Look at the international negotiations that happened when, I mean, you're doing the international negotiations
अभी
while
Indian
you're...
Express, no, but why blame the foreign media? अब Indian Express का देखो, वो cover symbol is very right in saying जो ये Canadian ex ambassador का पूरा statement लिया है, it's completely biased, यार. जो what Indian Express has done.
No, but once again, should you not have reporting then?
Look,
यार एक second. Now
I'm
this
just
needs
asking
to
you,
be
I'm playing the
clarified.
devil's advocate.
किसी
Should you
को
not have reporting?
भाई,
Yeah,
मेरे को
और
एक-
they can
देखो,
heritage
आगे
उसकी
उसका भी जो
statement ले लो.
SME wants to give a-
Where is the
नहीं,
balance then?
I don't know. I think it's all right. I mean, I differ from Kaval Sibal in
See,
this point.
yeah.
I think you can have an op-ed. You should have all points of view. We are a democracy. Have
They
them.
don't have the all points of view.
But,
That's
but
the
you know,
problem.
They don't
I'll
do
tell
it.
you what
Yeah.
the real problem is. On the day Gurpatwant Singh Pannun makes his second threat against Air India, the Indian Express reporter is brown-nosing Eric Garcetti and asking him, sir, what is, you prefer chutney with samosa or you prefer ketchup with samosa, sir?
Or maple syrup.
Where you like to eat most, sir? Can I wash your plate, sir? So, you know, Indian Express, there is definitely room for the reporting the other side. Udhar, jiska paisa, uska news.
No,
No,
that's
I
that's
think
that's
that's-
unfair. I feel.
I think Indian Express has.
No, look, every
circulation
media.
कितनी है?
हाँ,
it's
वो
a
अलग
credible
बात है.
paper. वो इसका Washington Post
No,
का
but
कितना
one
है?
minute.
Washington Post
अगर
का
वो
कितना है?
इतने
इंडिया की
खराब
नहीं ना,
है.
इंडिया की
Washington
बात-
Post का कितना
दिल्ली की बात करना.
No.
That is not the barometer.
It is the
barometer.
barometer.
सुशांत,
No, no,
अगर
that's not.
उनकी reporting इतनी खराब है, just like people used to say about NDTV or people say about
But
whatever.
the people of
Why do
influence
people
read
go
it.
there? हाँ. Why do people? BJP
it's the
always
impact.
will go
BJP
there.
writes op-ed
Yeah,
there,
okay.
yeah.
So
It's
first
the
of all,
impact.
let's be clear. The BJP has a severe inferiority complex. You know, this is like going to a psychiatric ward and saying, this is the barometer of mental health. I'm higher than this and therefore I'm better. Okay, so BJP guys have extraordinary inferiority complex because they're upwardly mobile, lower middle class people. Okay?
That is to be censored.
No, that is not to be censored. It's the
I
truth.
love that you don't have any faith in generalizations and stereotypes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the way it is.
I think that's taking it to...
Yeah.
No, but
no.
he, look,
Achha,
I think
there
he
is
has
a truth
point.
to it. Stereotypes are
Validation
based on-
seeking, I agree.
हाँ.
तो और क्या होता है?
complex. See, validation seeking comes from an inferiority complex.
Why
no?
would you seek validation if you are self-assured? Why would you seek validation from anybody if you are self-assured, which does not mean that you think that you are the repository of all the wisdom in the world, which they are not. But to seek validation from people who are your sworn enemies and to kowtow to them at every stage, it betrays a level of insecurity and inferiority,
What if
which
this
is astounding.
engagement?
Yeah.
What if this is engagement? Why should you not engage
मतलब
with
master
people?
stroke की बात पे आ गया.
No, I'm not saying master stroke. I'm saying you don't like somebody's
So
reporting.
the
fine, but you
Congress
should
will
engage.
not do that either. They will not go on.
Those 14
Shall I give you a very
on that
pertinent
list.
example?
I think they should now relook at it.
Let me give you a very pertinent example. There is one Professor Mandal, I can name him, right?
Professor Dilip Mandal.
Dilip Mandal, right?
Yeah.
Very few people have said things against Modi and against BJP consistently for years,
Yeah.
like what he has. He's been appropriated, isn't it?
No, but one is
Anand,
political.
Tell me something.
Wait, political
One second.
Political appreciation is
Dilip
different.
Mandal comes
Media
in a different category. Let me separate it into two people.
Okay.
Let's take Bhavesh and let's take Dilip Mandal.
Bhavesh is who?
Ola.
Ola.
अच्छा,
Okay.
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 भाई इस पे भी डिस्कस कर
हाँ,
ये
इस
तो
पे
करना ही
डिस्कस
पड़ेगा।
करने
पीछे
दो।
पड़े हुए लोग
मेरे
यार,
पीछे
मतलब हद
पड़े-
हो गई यार।
हाँ, वो ले आओ जरा भाई।
हाँ,
Bhavesh has a rotten product.
हाँ.
Okay. And I don't care how much he is on our side or whatever. If you have a rotten product and you're doing things like this S and S Pro and all of that, where you couldn't deliver the Pro model, so you reduce the battery life of the basic model, you're not a good businessman. You are a fraud. You deserve to be called out. Okay.
No, 1 second. So I got trolled a lot. My thing was
We'll come
that
to you in a bit.
No,
When
let's,
come to the
let's
thing.
first. No.
Ha,
let-
okay.
We'll come to you later. I'm the center of attention right now. Don't take away from my moment in the spotlight. This is
Ola, okay.
Okay. And you can't deal with customer service like this. When your customer service justifiably gets called out, you can't just push it off. Okay? शायद उसने पैसे लेके tweet किया हो. Fair. But the problem is real.
Correct.
Sort that out. Okay? And then you have people like Dilip Mandal. Now, have you ever seen me troll Dilip Mandal? Because whatever he's written, the sociology behind it is absolutely sound.
yeah, exactly.
Not at all. What
It
are you
is.
saying?
It is. No. It is.
It
when
is.
he talks about
First
the
of all,
caste system,
I have
and
never
what he-
trolled him, but he has trolled me.
तो क्या हुआ?
I did not know who Mia Khalifa was. मुझ पे वो कहते हैं तो हिम्मत कैसे हुई तुम्हें पता नहीं JNU प्रोफेसर और मियां खलीफा नहीं पता कौन है
Maybe he thought all JNU professors do the same thing. JNU
ठीक
professors
सवाल
do.
पूछा थे
Maybe he thought all JNU
आपको
professors
पता
do
है
what JNU
मियां
professors do.
खलीफा
ये-
कौन? कैसे पता था आपको
Tell me some serious.
ये सनी लियोनी पर रुक जाता है.
Find some serious sociological flaw in Dilip Mandal's argument.
Yeah.
Not
Look,
me,
and look,
There are many.
no,
No,
one
I'm
second.
just joking.
The other-
That was light-hearted, but there have been many.
No, but Anand,
Yeah.
Anand, on Dilip Mandal again, I have seen him when he was viscerally anti-Modi or
Yeah.
anti-BJP.
Yeah,
Totally.
But look, I also will give people the agency that you can say that, okay, fine, maybe what I was saying at that point of time, it does not necessarily
I've
mean that he's
remembered,
been
I
paid
think,
money.
after this.
It does not mean that he's been paid money, he's been bought over. People do transform.
Yeah, so why
a
not?
lot of us have
you get a
transformed
new
on a range
and you
of
get a
issues.
new set of information. You change. If you were not tum patthar ho yaar, you get a new set of information. You get more. You read more. You come to know more. You change your point of view.
Absolutely.
How
I
does
used
it
to be a
matter?
communist. Now I'm not.
This is why I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't know you then.
So, for example,
Trust me,
no,
I was more fun then.
you asked me for one example. The Supreme Court judgment where it said you must define creamy layer in the SC reservations as well. He went completely ballistic saying Supreme Court big chuka hai, hi, this, that,
He
pura
didn't say
trolling.
big chuka hai.
Matlab, I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing.
Anyway,
He was against that, right? Why should somebody be against if one wants to stratify
But he had very
people
valid
who
points.
already
He had
have?
very-
They
Did
have
you
very
read
valid
the-
points. Did you know the points?
Of
here?
course,
Very
and I
valid
disagree
points.
with him.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is that
Disagreeing
your
is okay,
disagreement
na?
doesn't take away from his valid points.
अच्छा, come back to this.
Yeah.
That is different. उसका एक point
This
था.
guy-
इसका
इसने
totally
bouncer
different
रखे
है.
हुए हैं.
So what if he's kept bouncers?
और
How
बाउंसर
does
रखे
it-
हुए अपने
तुमने भी रखे हुए
अरे
bouncer?
मेरे-
उसका
मेरे
क्या
घर
फर्क
में
पड़ता है?
अरे
यार,
इसने
consumer-
बाउंसर अपने कंज्यूमर्स को मारने के लिए रखे हुए हैं। मैं थोड़ी अपने कंज्यूमर क्या कर रहे हो यार?
अच्छा, now-
उसने कंज्यूमर्स को वो
मेरा-
ले आता है पाजी मेरे स्कूटर में प्रॉब्लम है भागो यहाँ से
Yeah.
So Ratan
He-
Tata,
you
nobody
yourself-
would, you know, Air India का है, रतन टाटा को लोग गाली नहीं देते
यार
थे।
देते थे.
मैं
At one
देता हूँ.
point of time.
मैं रतन टाटा को बहुत गाली दे
यार
चुका हूँ
at one
on
point
Air
of time Tata Birlas were the negative people. Then वो Tata Birlas become the nice guys. Then Adani Ambani become the, you know, generationally there is, तुम अपने आप को Tata Birla समझते हो.
but-
We've grown up
but
on
you
that.
know
But in
why
this
the
case-
Tatas and Birlas became the good guys? No.
So
Because they
what-
plied enough people with money.
So this guy has
So
not
it's
yet
an
done
extortion
it.
business.
He's not yet done it. The Bajajas have done it at some point.
Listen, the Bajajas. Okay, the number of products they announce which never get delivered.
And
the number,
the monopoly
their
that they
entire,
had.
Exactly. It was all brown-nosing Indira Gandhi
The-
being in the Congress.
The monopoly
that got them the entire
Do you
this
ever
thing.
think that any of the other competitors, ये Hero Honda, जो भी आया था market में scooter लेके, how come everybody's scooters just disappear and only certain products stay?
Yeah.
Now you can give all kinds of reasons, but what I'm trying to say is that at some point of time, this kind of gung-ho goes away and he will again become like the others, that you pay off all those people who are speaking against.
No, but in this particular case,
let
just
me
a
give
second,
you
in this
let me
case,
give a counter example.
He came in. Sorry, just one second. He was very sort of racist, or very sort of he looked down upon that tweet made by that comedian. And I don't support the comedian, but he looked down and he said, "Look, if you don't like my product, I'll give you a job here." That's not how you deal with
Yeah,
someone.
that was wrong.
That's not.
Yeah.
How is that racist?
No,
You
but
look
tell
down
me,
upon people.
tell
Come
me
on.
what
Somebody's
did-
complaining.
What
saying you're-
did Kunal Kamra say that was wrong?
Well, again, whatever he said, I think was right. He could have addressed the problems on points. Your answer to those
Exactly.
problems
He
can't
was-
be,
he
you
behaved-
want a job at my workshop,
he
you're fit
behaved
to
like
be
a
a mechanic.
petulant child
A
without
mechanic
answering the problem.
is also dignified labor. You can't do that to people.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
No, but you look at the misinformation that, I mean, I don't know whether we should revisit, because last caucus, that was the thing that was exploded.
Yeah, with
Israel,
your line on Israel, it was
Right.
bizarre the way they
And
went
the funny
after-
thing is, in 2019, I think November, it was the Indian Council in New York who almost said word for word exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
to rehabilitate the displaced Kashmiri Hindus. We should look for the Israel model, Israel solution.
And I stood up for
इसने
you.
उठा लिया, of course, because
वो
any
settlement
sensible
की
person.
बात हो रही थी. But you know, the same thing, they
never
they
endorsed violence.
spliced out a part
Yeah.
of that which suited them, and then they went viral. And then we were talking about YouTubers, right? The some of them who are just chores, who just pick up things and do this kind of thing, splashing it together. This is ridiculous what was done to him.
No,
So
but
Pakistani-
secondly, more
so
importantly,
Pakistan-
why
sorry.
did they think that a democratically elected country like Israel would be any solution that it professes would be akin to genocide? That is even more problematic.
First of all, they don't
Matlab-
even know the definitions of genocide. They don't know what war targeting is. They don't know how it differs from peace targeting.
You see, the
this is
moment you
like-
say
just
genocide,
idiots.
You see, I had a problem with-
you assume that you are being very profound about something.
But you know what?
Basically, बड़े-बड़े शब्द
But
को-
you know, you know what is the most
Zionist. Genocide.
what
नहीं,
Zionist.
जैसे in India, for example, we have
The
an
most
epidemic.
important
One
thing,
second.
Sushant.
In India, we have an epidemic. Abrogation of Article 3.
यार आप
ये
equally
नहीं हुआ है।
guilty, लेकिन उसका कुछ और वो बोलो.
अबे constitutional reforms
चलो वो क्या दिया, मतलब ये गवर्नमेंट भी यूज कर चुकी
they
है
were actually
abrogation.
constitutional reforms.
I just say cancelled sometimes.
क्या
Because वो क्या
इसके
बोलो
बाद
फिर?
इससे मिलने के इससे डर लगने के चक्कर में मैंने वो कहना
हाँ,
बंद
चलो
कर दिया.
कश्मीर पे आ जाते हैं ना.
But just to end, notice Clip who takes the greatest this thing, not one tweet about Iran.
Yeah.
So not just a Muslim supremacist and a jihadist, also a Sunni supremacist who hates Shias. He hates
Iran the
your people, bro.
Iran the Shia
He
country.
hates you people.
यार वो ये उसका
Do you-
शहजाद
do
मैं
you
पसमंदा
know-
हूँ,
do you know this
पसमंदा
guy-
सर्टिफिकेट दो.
This
क्या
guy
क्या हो
is
गया
from the
उसमें?
original cult of assassins. They were called the Hashashum, and they were Ismailis. And our man, this is why.
शहजाद को देख के
he's
तो
like-
लगता है, इसको देख के नहीं लगता.
मैं प्यार से मारता हूँ. मैं प्यार
ये
से
प्यार
मारता हूँ.
से. He's the
अच्छा.
Cupid.
Yeah.
Can we go to Kashmir? Can we discuss Kashmir?
Let's go to Kashmir.
Yes, can it? यार एक सेकंड, our long standing demand, you कंजूस मक्खी चूस,
अभी तक
4
क्या?
हो चुके हैं caucuses.
हाँ.
एक बार caucus ही नहीं गए यार, एक बार caucus ही ले जाओ भाई.
And I want to put this on
समोसे
record.
खिला के
I
टका
want to
दिया
put,
जाता है.
one second. I want to put this on record.
मालदीव जा सकते हैं
I
आपको.
call up Smita. I said, let's this time do it at a hotel. She said, I'll send you all the details. So I said, we'll have a presentation. I'll get it. And you said nothing to me.
Not-
You said Nidhi
Okay,
will call you.
let's take a vow out here.
Yes. Next-
That the
next
next
caucus.
one
A vow
will
like
be
this. A vow
will
like
be
this.
in a Maldives.
Maldives.
And the one after that will be in the middle of Dal Lake on two
नहीं,
shikharas.
कश्मीर नहीं जाना मुझे.
Hey, Lakshadweep. No, one second. Why aren't we doing Lakshadweep?
I don't.
Prime Minister's promoted Lakshadweep.
Yeah, we should go to Lakshadweep.
No,
Lakshadweep.
वहाँ कुछ नहीं है.
Actually, the
अच्छा,
hotels
वहाँ
in
पर-
Maldives are better. Huh?
I am on record.
So now
saying
you're
that-
getting hari tikki.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't. How can you not eat at all?
So
at
we are
the
very
Samosa
very
Caucus?
secular. We had samosa with
couple of-
saffron chutney, hari tikki, and white idli.
Yeah.
We've got the
And you
White
got green
signifies-
glasses.
White signifies
peace.
Peace.
नहीं, but
Purity.
Green
Secular.
signifies fertility and
Thank you.
अरे
and
वो तो
saffron
मुझे
signifies
पता है.
valor.
मोटा मोटा बोलना,
जल्दी
हिंदू
करो
मुस्लिम और
ना.
क्रिश्चियन बोल. White signifies peace and all.
मैं सिर्फ ये बोल रहा
चम्मच रख दो,
हूँ.
कटोरी
मुझे
उठा
नहीं
लो.
पता
हाँ,
बाकी.
कटोरी
तेरे
उठा
तो
लो.
ब्राउन है.
मैं बहुत यहाँ पर फेयर एंड लवली लगाया, कुछ हुआ नहीं. और इतने से इसमें
तू वाइट करवा लेते ना वहाँ पर.
हाँ, उसको पेंट करवाता हूँ white.
So let's go to Kashmir first. Haryana to hum kar chuke. Let's go to Kashmir. I was thrilled to bits, let me tell you this. When I was in Kashmir and I could go to, I saw Lal Chowk without sandbags and in the middle of elections, no security, nothing. It was like great.
But one word about, if I may, that YouTuber who went there and got so much of flack.
That girl.
Anuradha Tiwari, yeah.
I wonder why, because she was just exposing what
She was
people
just,
feel.
I mean, talking to ordinary Kashmiris, and the statements of the ordinary Kashmiris were not considered problematic. This journalist going there, YouTuber going there and asking them was considered problematic.
And also the BJP,
I think the
BJP
report
ones
out
also
there
said
was-
that she's undoing all the good done
Yes,
by
yes, वो भी मतलब दोनों तरफ से.
अगर ये democracy है, अगर freedom of expression है, doesn't matter if whatever the narrative.
But
yeah.
whatever side of the fence we are, what kudos to the Election Commission and Armed Forces Kashmir.
Absolutely.
I mean, unbelievable to get this and pull this off.
For all the clip, should we do our election dance?
Hasn't that gone very viral, that two of us are viral?
Yeah, two of
You know who
doing it.
tweeted it? An ex-prime minister's brother was assassinated. Her daughter, author daughter, she tweeted our dance. From
Ex-Prime Minister.
From not from India, Pakistan. Pakistan Prime Minister.
Ex-Prime Minister's
Assassinated brother's daughter.
Acha,
she tweeted our
she's
dance.
written a book also.
She's written a book also.
And that
Fatima.
And claims to have won several awards.
Fatima Bhutto.
and in that book what she wrote
did she-
was Bhutto's brother
But what
got
did
a
she do?
bribe of a Rolex.
Let's do it.
We will do the.
No, what was she
She-
defamatory? She said gande
on the
log.
on the Anand thing, when they all attacked, they used various parts of the various clips. So they used this part. They said this is a serious discussion, and then they put in this part that in this discussion he's
Yeah, so
asking for
serious
the-
discussion ka matlab hai don't have fun.
Yeah.
Keep serious faces, look constipated
भाई
and
देख,
say the
wire-
most
wire
bizarre
देख
things. हाँ.
देख
No, you can
उसका
look
उसका
Karan
उसका बाप उसका बाप एक दो कौड़ी का टेररिस्ट था, मर गया उसके
नहीं,
खुद
नहीं,
के
that's not how we
उस
talk
खुद
about
के-
people. No, no,
but
that's
it is
not-
true.
no, that's
It
not
is true. Let's be clear about it. He was a terrorist.
No,
Acha, let's go
He
to
was a
Kashmir.
terrorist. He kidnapped.
He
people.
was.
I know that. He was a terrorist.
He was the head of an organization called Murtaza.
That I know.
So
then
a
it was
terrorist.
not a
Osama
social
bin Laden
welfare
thing.
organization.
literally the daughter of a terrorist. I will not take social validation from trash like that.
Yeah.
You don't take from anyone. But you want to do the dance?
Let's do the dance.
अभी नहीं यार, रुक जा,
but we
let's
रुक जा,
go-
पहले
हाँ,
कश्मीर पे बात
let's
कर
talk
लेते
on
हैं
Kashmir.
सक्सेस स्टोरी के बाद.
jealous
Congrats to
about
our
Yeah.
armed forces and the
Yeah.
election commission.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
one
what
was-
do you have to say to this U-turn by Farooq Abdullah? No talks should be held with
It's
Pakistan.
normal, yaar. He
till
keeps doing
stops
it all the
terror
time.
attacks.
If he is in power,
Yeah.
he will be a staunch Hindustani.
Yeah.
Right? The day he is out of power, he will play that game which he
He
has
was
been
the one
playing
on
for.
record who said Allah चाहेगा कि हम separate हो जाएं इंडिया से. Allah चाहेगा.
Anand and I were on a show, but I said, listen,
He is
you
the
all-
one who also invited China.
Yeah, to solve the yeah.
But Anand and I were on a show where the BJP person said whatever. And then I told them, if tomorrow they want to leave India alliance and come to NDA, NDA will be the first to say he's the most patriotic. But he also, but you know, he also in Vajpayee's
Yeah, he was
memory,
in NDA.
he said Bharat Mata ki jai and all that. He gave a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good
he
speech. very
sang
emotional.
also.
He sang a very
He
emotional
sang
speech.
Vande
he gave.
Mataram or one of those सारे जहां से
So look,
अच्छा
he's
पता
a very affable kind of a
Very
guy.
affable,
He
yes.
He has a connect with people.
he does.
He has all of that. But he's also very erratic. He can like swing like a pendulum from one end
Isn't
to
that
another.
all politicians?
No.
Most
No.
politicians
No,
are
no,
not
no.
as erratic
Come
as
on,
this.
look
No.
at the look
No, they will always
Nitish
have a very
Nitish Kumar, Ajit Pawar,
Speechless.
No, Ajit Pawar ने तो एक बार ही switch मारा है ना.
एक बार?
हाँ, okay, दो बार.
हाँ. No, but it's true that he's very malleable. But look in comparison, Omar Abdullah. What do you think his Omar Abdullah 2.0 is going to be?
See, Omar Abdullah's problem is that, like many of us, and I would count myself in that, you know, all these public school educated, convent educated kids have a certain problem on how they relate to the masses. You know, there is a certain superciliousness among this lot.
But has he changed? I mean, this time he took out his topi and said कि मेरी
We'll
इज्जत
wait
का
and
सवाल
see.
है.
देखो यार, अभी आया है, अभी तो power भी नहीं है हाथ में. Let's face it.
He's seen
It's
the
still not a full
alternative.
state.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He's seen the alternative.
No. Plus, it's not a full state right now. So there are. But look, to be fair to him, I think some of the statements he has made after winning the election
Not
are
bad,
very
yeah.
responsible.
Correct.
Very-
Yes.
I agree.
He hasn't given up whatever political platforms he fought the election on, but he has been pragmatic enough to say that, look, I understand some things are not going to be possible, at least for the foreseeable
about
future.
370.
But
Al-Taqiyya.
we will keep pushing for it. No, that's not. I think you're being unfair on that.
Yeah.
It's politics. It's pragmatic politics.
Yeah,
Would you
but
say that when BJP came into power in 99, and they did not go ahead with their three big issues, that was Al-Taqiyya?
100%.
No, it wasn't. It was not
He will
practical.
say
It
that.
was not.
I'll
He's
say
an absolutist.
Yeah,
so.
you're a
Omar
radical.
Abdullah is the same guy
You're a
who
radical
said
extremist.
Afzal Guru को फांसी नहीं देता वो.
But then the Congress did say that we had given the dates and we had informed him in advance. So, look, I mean, I agree with Sushant on this. In politics, you got to keep a bridge open, you got to keep the door open. If you take an absolute
can't be too,
position, how will you talk? Then there will never be any negotiations and you have to negotiate. In a democracy, you'll have to talk. You have to do that, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, so now let's get to...
But okay, there are 2 Tamilians here. I have to put this breaking story.
Where are they?
Only one of them
One.
is.
And
one
where
of them
are
is
the two
no, no.
Tamilians?
What are you talking
Punjabi
about?
She knows more
He's
Tamil
bloody
than he
half
knows.
Tamilian. I am the pure red,
Tamil
blue,
le
true blue.
Tamil le pesi.
True blue.
Tamil le pesi.
True
In fact,
blue Tamilian. Can you please answer the
I
question?
refuse to
My
speak
dear
Tamil
friend.
to people who are not pure Tamilians.
I agree
I'll
with you.
never do it.
So my
You
dear
bring
friend-
100% Tamilian, I'll
So my
interact
dear
with him in
friend,
Tamil.
100%
fraud
Tamilian.
full fraud idu.
No. So my dear
You
friend,
get 100% Punjabi, I'll speak to you in Punjabi.
I have
की गल कर दे?
100% Punjabi.
हाँ, की गल कर पड़े मैं तुझसे पंजाबी से गल करूँगा. Get me a true blue Tamilian, I will speak to that
true
person
blue
in Tamil.
Gujarati.
These pretenders and fake Tamilians, I don't
Mr.
interact.
Stalin's very capable son, Udayanidhi Stalin, has said he's appealed to newlywed couples to keep their children's name only Tamilian names. This is Udayanidhi Stalin.
உதயநிதி வந்து ஒரு சம்ஸ்கிருத பேரு. அவரோட அப்பா வந்து ஸ்டாலின்.
சரி சரி சரி.
ஸ்டாலின் வந்து ஒரு ரஷ்யன் பேரு. அவர் அம்மா பேர் வந்து துர்கை. துர்கை அம்மாள். துர்கை வந்து இது சம்ஸ்கிருத பேரு. அவர் தாத்தா வந்து கருணாநிதி. கருணாநிதி கருணாவும் சம்ஸ்கிருத் நிதியும் சம்ஸ்கிருத். பையன் பேரு இன்பநிதி. இன்ப வந்து தமிழ், நிதி வந்து சம்ஸ்கிருதம். பொண்ணு பேரு தன்மையா.
That's daughters.
அதுவே ஒரு சம்ஸ்கிருதம். அப்போ
Tanmaya, okay, Tanmay, okay.
ஃபீமேல்.
Female, yeah.
தன்மையா. கனிமொழி தமிழ்யா. ஒரு தமிழா இருந்துகிட்டு
It was not a question.
இப்பதான் வந்தது இவன் சரியான fraud. 1 நம்பர் fraud. எந்திரியா. சீவிடுவோம் நீ. எந்திரி. ராஸ்கலா.
Absolute
I refuse to speak to
யாரோ அருவாள் கொண்டாங்க.
Beneath
நெருக்கி பீஸ் ஆக்கிடுவேன்.
beneath my dignity to
Peace. Kanimuri is the only Tamil name in this, in the whole lot.
In that whole lot.
Are you
how
guys say
come you're
rascal
able
or
to twist the
scoundrel?
tongue like it should
So
be?
I can.
You got this training?
No, because of learning Bharatanatyam, I can understand Tamil and I can speak
ये तो
Spanish.
मुझे भी
हमको
समझ
भी
आया,
समझ में
ये तो
आया.
सब
It's
हमारे
all
को-
area
say
audience
Kanimuri.
got it. But we'll have
Kanimuri.
subtitles.
No,
मोई नहीं,
Mohi
मतलब
nahi hai.
पंजाबी वाली मोई नहीं है.
கனிமொழி.
Ra.
Ra.
So I think Ra is only there in Italian and Tamil. Ra. That Ra. If I'm not
Not in
mistaken.
Italian.
It's not in Italian?
There's a variation of it in French, but it's not the same as the Tamil ra.
Okay.
It's very guttural kind of.
No, it's a rolled tongue ra.
Okay, so now after the 2024 election, that whole Dravidian thing is all puss ho gaya na? That's, you know,
29 में दोबारा से शुरू होगा.
And they do the census and they do the delimitation. But Chandrababu Naidu said, please have more than 2 kids.
Okay, so
I think
that's
that's
another one.
I think but South Indian states do feel left out.
Delimitation से connected है, so
Connected
इसलिए.
है.
But then this demographic thing it's you know, there's a whole lot about it that the South Indian states are going to lose out.
True.
Because of
Can we first of all, you know, when you're talking about income and social development disparity, let's get very clear. In India, that disparity is na ke barabar. It's like two beggars arguing amongst themselves who's richer. If you go to China, for example, you look at Xinjiang or Xinjiang, Tibet and the Uyghur provinces. You look at the income difference between there, which is less than the national average, to cities like Beijing and Shanghai, which compete with European cities in income and social development. As opposed to India, $1,900 is bad. $2,101 is very good.
No, there is income
there's a
disparity.
massive-
There is
massive
income disparity,
between
but you
Maharashtra,
look
Tamil
at
Nadu and, the northern states.
Listen, it's all bhikariyon ki honor amongst bhikaris.
No, that's not true.
No,
I'll
no,
tell you
it
why
is-
in
it
Maharashtra
is.
there's this
No,
feeling.
too
Let me
much
just
is
tell you, in
genuine.
Maharashtra there's this feeling that Maharashtra is the financial capital of the country, and then we've kept our kids under we've kept our birth control under the TFR, and now we are going to be penalized.
I'm not
they got-
talking about
they-
population, I'm talking about income.
No, but
in
but
Bombay
that's
you have
linked to the
rich people,
delimitation.
but you
She's
have the
talking about
biggest
delimit-
slums.
No, but she's talking about
Yeah,
delimitation.
if we
ना,
go into
political.
it, it's
वो
बहुत
छोड़ो,
बड़ा
One
ना।
delimitation
second,
की
one
बात कर
second.
रहे हैं।
You look at the differences out there. You know this notion that some states have done better. It is an extremely marginal concept of better in India. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, but the slums
No,
come
wait,
because
no, no.
people from other
Wait.
places come, not
Wait,
to
you're
migrate.
not getting the point.
You go to a village, you go to a village in the remote areas of, for example, Andhra
Maharashtra.
Pradesh or Tamil Nadu
Yeah.
or any of these places, or maybe the Bihar village will be a little worse. But it's like what he says. What are you comparing it against?
I'm not disputing that, but what we are talking about is the economic, the political
it's
seats
the
going.
We still
The
don't know how
political
much
seats.
is going to, because abhi delimitation exercise has not been completed. We still don't know. But what Chandrababu Naidu is also saying is that people are going out, so we're going to be left with an aging population because, and which is true. If you go to many of the villages in Bihar and in Punjab and things, you have just aging population left in the villages.
Yeah, but
the youngsters
I
have
have an
gone.
objection to that.
And
What he's saying is like he's treating Andhra and state like a European country.
yeah, so this is
So
what it is.
does he
yeah.
mean to say that he will now he's psychologically barring people or preparing themselves that migrants will not be allowed to the thing?
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
no.
saying that.
No,
He's saying
again,
have more
you're being
kids.
very right. One
Yeah,
second.
but
Get
why?
the TFR up.
No,
but
because
why
migrants-
should Andhra population increase? Why can't UPites come to Andhra
There
to
is
work?
no problem in UPIs of
That's
Bihar
what I'm saying.
or
It is-
citizens of Bihar coming.
It is being
What-
parochial.
No, it's not being parochial.
To a certain extent,
course
yes.
it is,
I
yeah.
don't
No,
think
there
so.
is an
No, no,
element
there
of
is-
parochialism in it.
Andhra
Okay, you
kids
are-
के
I'll
पढ़ने
tell
के
you.
लिए-
One second.
I'll tell you.
एक minute.
Because, okay, you finish.
Look, there is an element of parochialness about it, and that is understandable. And that is something which is across the board. For example, in Assam, for example, if you say that, look, if there is a
Indigenous,
demographic transition taking place, then you know what happens to the people who are from Assam. So those concerns are valid.
Legitimate.
I don't think you can simply
Brush them
ignore,
aside, yeah.
brush them aside. Right? One is that. The second is about the political power. Now you cannot stop delimitation indefinitely.
Right.
And you cannot have the same, if you have the principle of population for electing members of parliament, then you will have a disparity in the current distribution of seats. One way, again, a lot of debate will go into it, is to probably follow that model which is there in places like the United States, that in the House of Representatives, you go according to population. In the House, in the Senate, or in Rajya Sabha, for example, you have equal seats for all states. You know, so even a Manipur will, supposing you say that 20 seats per state, even a small state like a Manipur or a Goa will get 20 seats.
And
Either you have
importance
something
बढ़ती है
like
ना
that.
उससे. Acha, see, the point also is, it's like, see, these kind of changes happened in, say, Maharashtra in the 70s and all that. It happened in Punjab. When we talk about bacche chale gaye, they've migrated, right? So you're left with villages where agriculture is the only source of income, but the youngsters have gone. Who's going to till the land? So the Biharis and Uttar Pradesh youngsters come in. So when they come in, they bring their own culture with them because they've come there, they've migrated. So initially you don't realize it. They are working, चले जाते हैं
But
छठ
they
के
also absorb
One
the
minute,
culture of the
छठ के
place.
टाइम पे वो चले जाते हैं. No, not necessarily. छठ के टाइम पे वो चले जाते हैं. Rest of the time they're there. So they bring their culture with them. Not necessarily assimilating, sometimes assimilating to some extent. With the Punjabis, it's easy to assimilate. Then comes the whole Maharashtra thing. If you remember, in the 70s, ये लुंगी वाले आ गए. You know?
लुंगी उठाओ, पुंगी बजाओ.
Yeah. So there was this whole anger that there's outsiders coming in. In the Bombay film industry, you'll see that. The Punjabis came in, there was resistance initially. Then, because the Maharashtrians didn't fight back, they just accepted it. Bombay just accepted everybody. But it happened with Bangalore. That whole boom that happened, you had people coming in from everywhere in the country. So then now there is that fight back. They brought in their culture. They
No,
didn't
but
assimilate.
remember,
Wait, 1 minute.
Maharashtra
They
had to
bring
fight
in-
back.
They fought back, but they bring in their culture, sometimes that culture is overwhelming. So
Yeah.
that whole Kannada movement is what? A resistance to that Hindi bolne lag gaye. Something that we used to be very proud कि Hindi बोल सकते हो, you can do that in Bangalore, no problem. You can't speak Hindi in Tamil Nadu, the auto driver will not take you. Now that's happened there. So this whole thing what Chandrababu Naidu is saying is he's seeing this in the future happening with his state too. It's going to happen where Andhra Pradesh is going to face that, where the younger population has migrated to Dallas, it's gone to Texas, it's gone everywhere else. They've gone to America, they've gone to the rest of the world. The younger population is not there. So you're going to see North Indians coming in and doing the jobs, which is going to happen. And then there's going to be resistance, like you're seeing in Karnataka, like you're seeing in Tamil Nadu. Go ahead.
I was just saying, there was the Shiv Sena is the product of that resistance.
Product, correct.
They
Bal
came
Thackeray,
out
yes.
of basically bashing up Madrasis
Totally.
like me, not like Anand.
No, my families.
Yeah.
But
The Kannadigas were totally called Lungiwalas.
This is worth expanding on it, Smita, because why did I say parochial? Because I can see the logical conclusion of it.
Okay.
It's just more division, forgetting that we are one country.
We are
Number
one
one,
country.
let me finish, okay? Now, what you say is right. But on the other hand, you're also extrapolating that every Andhraite person will be prosperous enough to to go to Dallas and all. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
That's not what we
Not
say.
every prosperous.
What I'm trying to say is कि whatever migration happens, yes, there might be a blowback, but the state to where the migration has happened actually benefits more than the state from where migration has happened.
No, Anand.
Ultimately, an equilibrium is set up.
No.
No, it's not.
Not necessary an equilibrium.
And as somebody who comes from Maharashtra, I'm seeing this happen in front of me. So again, there is this feeling now in Maharashtra. Like I said earlier, we've kept our total fertility rate under check. What we genuinely fear is our economic progress made because of contributions of people from across the
Yes.
country.
But
Across
one
the
thing.
country. Allow me. Because I'm not we lose that as well as we lose our political power. Let me explain to you why. There is already a feeling that we're getting less for the GST we pay. There's less in the 15 Finance Commission that we're getting. There's already that feeling. You can argue logically or you can accept what I'm saying. There's that feeling.
By the
Now
British
when we lose-
economy,
just-
you
one-
look
just
at
one
the
second,
West
just one
countries.
second. Allow me to finish.
Why did the British
Allow me one second.
allow West Indians?
One second. Allow. But even then, the feeling is now I'm going to lose political power. That now is pinching me. That now is pinching the ordinary person in Andhra,
तेलंगाना में से कि तुम होते कौन हो हमको बताने वाले भाई.
अच्छा एक मिनट
I contribute more to GST, I get
I
less.
quite understand
Okay, so one
it
second.
sometimes.
Let's talk about Maharashtra. Except for Pune and Mumbai, where else has a demographic transition or outsiders coming in?
But that's where the
One second,
problem
one
is.
minute, in Karnataka, except for Bangalore, कहाँ गए हैं लोग? In the case of Telangana, कोई Warangal नहीं जाएगा यार. कौन जाएगा Warangal यार या whatever other Anantapur or one of those places. I have been to some of those places. Nobody will go there. They will all go to Hyderabad, right? Now, I can understand that within that city, for example, in Bombay, now there are Gujarati
Pockets.
influence, Punjabi influence, all kinds of other Bihari influence, all kinds of influence. But outside of Bombay, you will not have those influences. The same thing will happen in Gujarat, for example, where a lot of people are making a beeline to go and work in Gujarat. So one is, there is no point of having a united country if you're not going to have all of this. One. Secondly, this whole business about GST. भाई अगर आपको GST की बात है तो आपको GST सिर्फ अपने स्टेट में नहीं मिलती. आपको whatever you produce in your goddamn state, you are sending it to all over India.
That's true.
Which is how you are getting, your
And
earnings.
number two,
So the point is,
anybody highest
let
taxpayer
him
hai.
finish,
And
let him
that's
finish.
because most of the companies are stationed
yeah,
there.
most of the
explain that.
companies are headquartered out there, which is why it becomes the largest taxpayer city in the country. The point what I'm trying to make is that when you talk about a united India, yes, Hyundai will set up a car plant in Tamil Nadu, but Hyundai is not selling its cars in Tamil Nadu. It's selling its cars in bloody Gurgaon.
I
So
absolutely
when the
agree
Tamil government, the government
for
of Tamil
looking at
Nadu starts talking about, I have to be careful with my language.
I thought your point when the Tamil.
नहीं,
Thank you. You didn't say when the Tamil.
यार I'm like पंजाबी ऐसे ही बात करते हैं ना घुमा के. So the point is that if you are selling your cars in Punjab or in Haryana or in Delhi, the you have a market out here. So don't tell me that you are doing me a favor by setting up a car company in Tamil Nadu.
All of
So
those
this
points,
whole nonsense, I am more productive.
Yeah.
Once again,
This is bullshit.
all of those points taken into consideration. None of those are disputed.
But
one second,
one sentence. And despite having said all this, I understand that there is going to be a fear of loss of political capital, political
That's the big
power
one.
because of reallocation of seats.
कौन सी political? क्या political?
For example, once
कि
this
यूपी से
once
मुंबई
this-
में आ गए कौन सी political loss हुई?
Once the delimitation happens, the number of seats in UP and Bihar will go up. The number of seats in the southern states will come down to what
So they
currently
get to
is.
call more
So they will
shots
call
on
more.
what
Now
will happen in
already,
national policy.
now even though I agree that I'm using the word export very deliberately, my car from Chennai to Gurugram, I'm using it very deliberately. Please don't troll us. I'm not saying it's a separate country. Even though I'm exporting that, I completely get it that the manufacturing thing. The fact is, I'm anyways getting less for what GST I'm making. In terms of percentage, what is being distributed to the poorer state. And I accept that they should be helped.
Yeah,
the
but you are getting jobs now.
No, but the 15
Because
finance,
somebody has set
but
up
the
a plant
15
out
Finance
there.
Commission is also now distributing tax based on the land mass. So a Kerala is much smaller, a Telangana is much smaller than a UP and BR. So that is now a new criteria.
So
put in.
just explain this to me.
So now
These
I've
are
lost
all
money.
socialist parties who believe in taking from the rich and giving to the poor.
Poor, yes.
They just don't want it extrapolated in a state.
Their
thing,
state, yeah, exactly.
But intrastate
एक
fine.
मिनट बताना
political
अगर चीफ
power
मिनिस्टर बोलता है
Nationally, no, intrastate fine है.
But Modi ji also objected to
nationally
GST,
fine
no?
है.
एक मिनट
पर
बताओ.
interstate
नहीं
fine
नहीं
है.
अगर
Modi
कोई
ji also
लीडर
accept-
आपको बताता है अगर कोई चीफ मिनिस्टर आपको बताता है हैव मोर चिल्ड्रन और हैव लेस चिल्ड्रन will people follow that advice
no.
however popular a chief minister
No, because
is
he's making
China
a law.
में
He's
order
saying-
कर दिया ना
हाँ,
कि
क्या
have more
हुआ?
children.
हाँ.
Nobody is having more
Nobody
children.
is
But
having-
tomorrow he'll start
खाना
giving
कौन है?
incentive, na?
That's
No,
a
he's
very
giving,
important
no, no,
Chandrababu
he's
Naidu
giving
will start giving
incentive. He's saying
incentives.
you'll only be allowed to contest if you have more than 2 children. So Maharashtra and all these states, how did they control it? Assam. They controlled it by saying there's a law, if you have more than 2 children, you can't contest local
Which
elections.
was never implemented.
Maharashtra it was in the local bodies. It's very strictly implemented, very strictly. A lot of people got disqualified because they've had 2 wives. So they found out the 3rd child. So that's very strictly implemented. Come back.
Hey, Ram.
This guy is incentivizing. He's saying the local body laws will be changed. You can only contest if you have more than 2 children.
that's really bizarre
That is the point.
No, it's and also can I just say something? This nation has to decide. ये नहीं कि आप माइग्रेट कर रहे हो दूसरे स्टेट में. प्लीज रिमेंबर 45 लाख crores is our annual budget allocation. Okay, उसका 20 lakh crores is in welfare schemes. Now I can say कि यार आप ठीक है यूपी वाले की मदद कर रहे हो वो मुंबई आ रहा है काम करने लेकिन आप सिलेंडर जो दे रहे हो आप जो सारी वेलफेयर स्कीम्स टॉयलेट्स बना रहे हो वो महाराष्ट्रियंस के लिए नहीं बना रहे आप यूपी वाले के लिए वो मत बनाओ मेरी सड़कें बेटर करो मेरे लिए बेटर एयरपोर्ट
That's
बनाओ
the problem,
सो
Batenge.
यू आर चेंजिंग द एंटायर थिंकिंग इंडिया हैज टू वर्क एज वन
One unit.
no we're one unit we are sitting in Delhi none of us can even breathe look at the water I mean, who's thinking of it? You have this bizarre
Why?
system.
Are you trying to tell me that Aam Aadmi Party is not thinking about it? They haven't
Has the
cracked
Prime
down.
Minister
they
thought
thought
about
of
it?
water
Huh?
12
Has the
lakh
Prime
का
Minister
toilet
thought
है
about
Yes, of
pollution?
course.
How many meetings the Prime Minister called for pollution across with all these states?
Pollution is a state subject.
It's not that. The
Why
pollution
isn't
is coming from different states.
Why isn't the
Is
Aam Aadmi
Haryana-
Party
is
government?
Haryana
I know
not
they are
having
your
stubble
allied party.
I don't like the Aam Aadmi Party. I'm saying this is a national
देख तो
problem.
India Alliance को
नहीं
तोड़
पता
रहा
है
है.
नहीं,
I
नहीं,
take
सही
strong
कह रहा है
objection.
from
I'm-
episode 1 he
I'm
has
saying he
always
should
said
call
that.
this,
वो तो हम
yeah.
सारे
And I'm again saying there is a cancer pandemic in North India.
What do you
agree
say
with
about
me.
Toto,
It's because
pots?
of pollution.
12 lakh
12 यार but वो है बहुत अच्छा.
I'm
I have
sorry.
used it once.
It is rubbish.
What nonsense. It
Toto
is-
toilets are the worst.
Okay, listen. If I have the
फव्वारी
money,
की तरह फूंकता है. It doesn't
boss,
get rid
it
of
is
anything.
awesome.
It is rubbish.
If you ever sit in the
I've sat in it.
boss winters में when your bathroom is
Your
like
bum feels warm. Let me just get to the point.
And it's so I experienced this during a visit to China. Okay?
अच्छा
Even
I thought
Japan.
to Kejriwal
no, visit
Arey,
to
this is why I
China.
fly. When I fly east, I fly Japan
अच्छा,
Airlines
तो
or
वो-
ANA because they've got
Warm toilet seats.
But it is just warm water on your pichwada. It is nothing more.
But
Arey,
it's
no,
so
even the
nice,
seat
yeah.
is-
The feeling.
It's nice. But it's not
But
cleaning
dry.
anything.
It
What
dries
is the
also.
point? What is
It
the
has a
point?
dryer also. Boss.
What? Yeah, it does. But what is the point if it is
And
if it doesn't have the pressure to clean?
It has.
It does.
You can
Yours
increase
did
the,
not.
अबे यार
गुड़गांव
you
में
can
होगा।
increase the pressure.
Please
तूने पता नहीं
खाना
बहुत
ले जाओ।
third
I've
world
sat
वाला
on
use.
many of them.
You have used third world ones. You use on one thing
I
I
have
will
used
give
it in
Aam
Japan.
Aadmi
I've used it in China.
great Manav the full points. He picked up the right
Best.
toilet seat.
Yeah.
This is what all Aam Aadmi.
He's an engineer, no?
हाँ तो उसका
उसको
pressure
पता
उसने बिल्कुल
Easy
set
नहीं।
किया होगा.
this
I
is
would
like-
have
this is
expected
No,
the
but
best clip.
Aam Aadmi to have an Indian commode, not a Western one.
So what? Yeah, Toto
Is there a
doesn't
Indian?
it sound
We were
Indian?
talking about pollution. Kyun? Why did we go to this? Why is it
Toto का
that-
Indian
Yeah,
version
because
क्या होगा?
I am very
Don't answer.
I want to have
Don't answer, Abhijit.
I want to have
I
that.
have it.
यार ना
You
हम
have it?
ना हम
What do you want?
that particular toilet seat. Yeah.
उसका इंडियन वाला इंडियन वर्जन क्या
No, I
कहलाएगा?
have it in my Pune house, but it's
का.
of no use. It doesn't get cold. It doesn't get so cold.
Huh?
It doesn't get so cold. in Pune.
Give it to me.
और उसको उखाड़ना पड़ेगा. उखाड़ लो. कटेगा तो बटेगा.
Oh yeah, let's go to that.
बटेंगे तो कटेंगे.
हाँ कटेगा तो sorry.
बटेंगे तो
Sorry,
कटेंगे.
sorry.
Does it as a Muslim does it make you nervous?
In this country, but it is obviously done to polarize. It is
नहीं
done to
nervous क्यों?
polarize.
Why should he
Why
be
should he?
nervous? समझा
I'm
नहीं.
just asking.
No,
No, but why? मुझसे नहीं पूछा
but-
As a Hindu, do you feel happy
as a
with
Muslim
it?
also you can ask me.
No, yeah, please. I'm done with the Tamil and Punjabi. I can't do
He
with
knows
Hindu and
more
Muslim.
of the holy book than
No.
than I.
बटेंगे
ये
तो
तो नकली
कटेंगे.
मुस्लिम है,
Okay,
मैं
so
तो-
what I heard Sudhanshu.
One second, just because I'm a pasmanda, you're making fun of me. I object to this. I am absolutely objecting to this.
पसमंदा.
I object to this. This is caste
See,
पसंद
this
कैसे
is
हो गए?
he should be arrested
तुम लोग
under
कैसे
SC/ST
पसंद
Act.
हो?
हाँ.
Because
SC/ST
he's just
कहाँ से आ
attacked.
गया ये?
He is
हाँ.
pasmanda SC/ST. Okay,
Yes.
you have insulted him. Maafi mango.
Yeah,
बुलाओ
please.
पुलिस को बुलाओ.
And you are
The richest, most uppermost caste of class of Muslim is this guy. And
Please
calling
don't
himself
listen.
pasmanda.
Please,
You
that's
have
not
to
true.
stop conflating economic
Economics with
success
social justice.
with the
We are
birth
rich.
oppression.
We are rich. We are rich because we worked hard.
Yeah.
And you cannot see a OBC person getting successful financially.
Are you
That is your
seeing
problem.
this?
This is the
A
mentality
a
you're fighting
Brahmin
against.
supremacist,
Brahminical
a Brahminical
patriarchal
patriarchal
is what I'm fighting
supremacist
against.
is oppressing a
Saying-
Muslim SC/ST
Exactly.
on this on the ANI
Yeah, and I
podcast.
object to
Foreign
this.
interferer.
Sue her.
Yeah,
Sue
this
her.
is terrible.
She's providing a platform for this.
हाँ, for upper caste.
नहीं, this is Brahminical.
Brahminical, don't blame all upper caste. Don't pass off your crimes onto other castes.
Only Brahmin.
Please apologize for your Brahmin privilege.
Apology.
No, but to come back to
Apology
this, butting
on
your
behalf of
cutting.
all of us.
It's got nothing to do with anti-Muslim.
They did
and
it
all.
right. They did it for that. Come on,
No.
let's not.
The context of this when he originally used this was Bangladesh.
And Bangladesh में कौन? It was between who?
Yeah, Hindus कट रहे थे.
और कौन काट रहा था?
एक मिनट. Can I just?
और कौन काट
It's
रहा
not.
था?
No, Tehseen.
Was
one
it wrong
second.
or was it right?
Was it a
Sudhanshu,
statement
one-
of fact or no?
Okay,
The question is, in India,
please.
अगर कोई काटेगा, तो what is the?
One second, no. So how it began was Sudhanshu Trivedi explained this. This is the RSS line. This is the BJP line. What they are saying is that Hindu jahan was not united. So they began. Let me explain this. What they explain, why they say it is, जैसे Kashmir में when the Hindus between Pandits and Bakarwals and all that, when they are not united, what happened was that at some point of time, for various reasons, the Pandits had to flee. It became a Muslim majority place. Look at Afghanistan. वहाँ पे Hindus were there, Sikhs were there. Suddenly, no Hindus, no Sikhs. You look at Pakistan, how many Hindus were there? They were not united, went away. How problems occurred is a different matter, but the point is that the Hindus were not able to fight back the oppression. It happened in other places. It happened in Bangladesh after 71 in several waves. It's happening now too. Not united, becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is what they said, that if it is happening all around us, it's happening in Nepal too, it's happening in Sri Lanka. That's what they're saying. Now, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just explaining to you that the idea is that agar tum saath nahi rahoge, when there is oppression in any form, then you will not be able to fight
Except the flaw in that argument by Sudhanshu ji is Bangladesh, Afghanistan, none of these were secular constitutional countries, some sort of constitution, Pakistan. This is a constitutional secular country where the government...
Bangladesh is a secular country.
Yeah, but constitutionally, you know how they went.
Constitutionally secular.
Yeah, but
secular.
but the second thing is, you know how the government ran. It was a government...
No.
One second. Allow me to finish. Here, the majority of the government is a Hindu majority government. And it's fine and it's good. So why can't they protect the Hindu fellow citizens? Now, there's a very interesting point Anand made. This Kashmir example, I don't agree with. Kashmir, after whatever happened, then the Farooq Abdullah government was dismissed. It was a BJP government, both in the center and the state. You had, why have today, 11 years after Modi ji, Hindus not been resettled in Kashmir?
Yes, the resettle is a different point.
Let me ask one question.
It is the exit of the Hindus which happened with the Kabilis.
But they weren't divided.
They were not divided.
They were not exit because it was basically Islamic jihadism.
So that's what he's saying.
if
Agar
you have
no,
named
they
it,
were divided
you have
also.
Prove me wrong. Is there an Islamic republic, by that I mean with a Muslim majority, that has a significant other minority?
Yes, Tanzania does. It's a democracy.
ढूंढ के तुझे
No, it does.
Maybe to some extent
नहीं,
you
there
can
are
say
57.
Indonesia.
Then
There are 57 Islamic countries.
Indonesia.
Indonesia is.
What is
Not
the population
really.
of non-Muslims?
97% Muslim.
No,
But at
Tanzania
least
is
in the one area in which
Malaysia.
In Bali.
Malaysia.
Malaysia
But
is how
Malaysia
much
में
percentage?
But Bali is less than 1%.
but Malaysia में the
Muslims is how many?
non-Muslims are actually
persecuted.
persecuted.
There's the Bhumi
Call it for
Although
what
they are
it
about
is.
60%.
No, Tanzania.
Let's call it for what
Look,
it is.
there is
Tanzania
no
is
Muslim
Tanzania.
majority country on earth which
Yeah.
is not tyrannical to its minority.
Crazy.
Bread and butter.
I
delicious.
just want to keep
Very
it
good.
in front of me as मेरा वो क्या कहते हैं उसको?
Willpower.
Willpower.
ये जैसे वो
महात्मा
मेनका डांस कर
What's
रही
the
है
German for
विश्वामित्र
triumph of the will? Considering that I'm a fascist Hindu.
यार why विश्वामित्र and मेनका
अच्छा.
But didn't Vishwamitra...
मेनका तो
Succumbed.
मेनका तो सामने बैठ.
हाँ ये मेनका का डांस कर दे एक बार
Menaka ka dance. Okay.
हाँ.
I will actually do the most famous example of succumbing, which is
Let me see if
Kama,
you can
in the
sway-
Kumara Sambhava, na, Kama firing the arrows at Shiva.
I think Shiva opened his
And
third
Shiva opened his third eye and burnt
Blasted
them all
him.
out. So you see how this thin I am.
And
So this is Parvati ka.
I am not a part
And
of this.
this is Kamadeva firing his arrows.
okay
And this is Parvati.
okay
And then
she got
Shiva
excited
is sitting and meditating. And then he opens his
Third
third
eye.
eye. And he sees the evil
Kamadeva
and
burns him too ashes cinder
That's the only time Shiva opens his third eye,
हाँ,
by the way.
हाँ.
Shiva never opened his third eye. otherwise.
Sahib, clap karo. Chalo.
Wow.
only Parvati was
Kind of offensive to
disappointing
all the women in the world that Kamadeva, you looked at Tehseen when you said, and Kamadeva is
I was
burned to
hoping
ashes.
you would look at me and say Shiva, but Kamadeva.
You have
all the-
considering
the-
you have this.
हाँ हम क्या बात कर रहे थे
कटेंगे
भूल गए।
कटेंगे
हम कह रहे थे,
हाँ.
you know what he said, there is not a single Muslim majority country that has not oppressed the minorities. True. My point is, there is not a single Muslim majority country which has a significant minority.
No,
Because they just
Tanzania
driven
does.
out, converted. I mean, you look at any country. Give me an example.
Tanzania.
यार एक उठा के ले आया
अरे
अब
तूने
उसकी
बोला
मुझे
single, I
अब
give
मुझे
you single.
सोचना देखना पड़ेगा पॉपुलेशन
अभी देख लो
knowing you
अभी-
उसमें भी गलती
अभी
है
देखो
Nigeria.
Okay,
Nigeria also.
now Nigeria, it's very interesting you've raised it. Look at the Islamic population, Muslim population of Nigeria 50 years ago and now.
And-
it is
and-
on the way,
and-
on the way to becoming
Look,
90%
Albania.
you can't take out these random countries okay?
Albania.
अभी कितने billion population अभी हम हैं by the time we
Nigeria
put
is
it
not
So Albania and Bosnia, they're the only two Muslim
अरे
countries
the
in Europe.
point I'm trying to
Bosnia is how much Muslim population percentage?
look at Maldives
60-ish.
यार हमारे में
So Albania, he's right. It's a significant, it's a majority Muslim, yet the country, as a country, professes atheism. But it's very significant
Tehseen,
Muslim.
we can't compare. It's like somebody
मतलब ये
saying
ना-
Netherlands
अरे
में
मैं
ऐसे
क्या
होता है,
बताएं?
Sweden
वही,
में ऐसे होता है.
Tanzania-
मतलब ये साउथ दिल्ली के साउथ वेस्ट
Tanzania,
पॉकेट में
we've
बसा
given
तो
you-
बिहार में ये हो रहा है.
We've given you 4 examples.
Yeah.
Tanzania,
Yeah, I'm saying-
Nigeria.
इतना ही मिलेगा.
But Nigeria is not a very good example
Yeah.
simply because look at the kind of problems
That are
which the
happening
Christian minority has.
But do you at any point of time feel that this slogan?
Kazakhstan?
Tehseen यार
Sorry.
एक second रुक
Sorry,
जा.
sorry, Kazakhstan.
What I'm saying is that does it make any of us feel a little uncomfortable? It's like there was a time when saying एक धक्का और दो.
Yeah.
गिरा
on
दो.
the
I'm not going to
contrary.
say that. But at that time, that one used to make me feel uncomfortable. कि I don't like this धक्का तोड़ो.
Smita,
But
on the
Smita,
contrary,
the slogan is not.
एक
the
कथा.
slogan is not के the slogan is बटोगे तो कटोगे.
कटोगे sound.
One second. The slogan is not के जुड़ोगे तो काटोगे.
Yeah, important
There is a
point.
difference between
Yes,
the two.
absolutely.
What you are saying
बहुत
is
बढ़िया.
It's
that
unity and self-defense.
Ek minute, one by one.
You are talking about unity and consolidation so that you cannot be pushed anymore. That you cannot be not only pushed around, you cannot be genocided anymore. As you have been in Bangladesh, for example. In a way, Bangladesh has been even worse than what Pakistan has been. Pakistan में तो slow genocide है ना. बांग्लादेश में तो major genocide की waves आई हैं, right? और आज दोबारा से शुरू हो गया है under Nobel Peace Laureate. So I think there is a logic to what these people are saying. Now, if it translates into the other, the flip side of it, then it's extremely problematic.
Okay, what do you say?
Two things. Number one, I completely agree with him. Very beautifully put.
Yeah.
कि काटने के लिए नहीं हम यूनिटी चाहते हैं, हम यूनिटी चाहते हैं कि कटे ना. So that's very important point. I wish some BJP guy had explained it, but then as you say BJP का
क्या upwardly mobile क्या था?
Upwardly mobile, lower income types.
टाइप्स में भी ऐसे करता है.
Types.
Okay. और ये पुडिंग खा रहा है, देखो उठाओ, मेरी भी खा गया ये पुडिंग.
मेरी भी ले लो.
The proof of the pudding is in the eating, bhai.
You know, if they don't have chapati, let them eat bread pudding.
Oh God, I am the Mary Antoinette here.
Yes, off with your head.
ये वाला जो clip है ना, ये just this one.
कर ले भाई. Please don't circumcise
You're
this.
finished.
Yeah. Don't circumcise this clip. Yeah.
Can you say this in Hindi?
Shalom. नहीं, but I was making an important point.
Sure, go ahead.
कि भैया बीजेपी के राज में हिंदू बटे भी नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी कट रहे हैं. ये चीज कोई एक्सप्लेन करे बीजेपी को. हिंदूज के पास मिता समय नहीं है. आप कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल देखो जो अपार्थाइड चल रहा है, स्टेट कंट्रोल ऑफ हिंदू टेम्पल्स, वक्फ एक्ट, जिसका लैंड पता नहीं कितना दुगना तिगना हो गया पिछले 15 सालों में जो उन्होंने हथिया है. यू लुक एट RTE अमेंडमेंट इन कंजंक्शन विद RTE एक्ट इन 93rd अमेंडमेंट. हिंदू रन स्कूल्स आर बीइंग क्लोज डाउन. यू लुक एट ऑल द अदर थिंग्स. सो बट भी नहीं रहे हैं, लेकिन कट रहे हैं.
तो
देखो, हिंदू टेम्पल्स वापस दिए होते अगर those leading the campaign went A-grade castists. You
नहीं,
can't.
ऐसा नहीं, ऐसा
I'm
कुछ
sorry,
नहीं.
but they're all
Am I a A-grade casteist?
the people, but you're not leading the campaign.
So, यार,
The people leading the campaign are
Okay.
out and out castists. They hate Dalits. They hate all lower castes.
नहीं,
They do. I will quote. Shall I quote? Shall I quote from their this thing?
Can we come to the point that we were discussing? फिर उसके बाद में बात करेंगे. Let's go to Tehseen first. Tehseen, as a Muslim, how do you see this?
makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. While I accept all the points Sushant is making, it makes me uncomfortable because
मैंने आज तक इसको मुस्लिम नहीं समझा यार. ऐसी बात
कोई
नहीं.
बात
it's not that.
Yeah.
You don't. It's not about Hindu Muslim. It's about you don't want consolidation on religious lines. Even on the other hand, I'm the guy who took a stand against Sartan se juda. Even that consolidation is wrong.
Yeah.
Any consolidation on religious lines makes me uncomfortable.
But
Whether it's been
Maharashtra में
done-
तो अभी हो रही है.
अच्छा, उसको बोलने दो यार, complete करने दो.
उसी पे टॉपिक
हाँ.
शुरू हुआ कि महाराष्ट्र में शुरू हुआ है. उसी पे तो टॉपिक शुरू हुआ.
हाँ.
So it makes you very uncomfortable. Any consolidation on religious lines makes you either side of it.
Okay.
Even consolidation on caste lines makes me very uncomfortable.
Huh.
So both sides, one side will play the caste, one side will play the religion, and this is very uncomfortable. As a nation, we are not thinking as a country.
But he's
anymore.
told you the difference, na? You're
It's
consolidating
consolidation.
because you fear being wiped out.
Okay, so let's go to that logically.
So you say Jews should not consolidate?
Hold on.
मतलब
Fear
ये
being,
theory क्या
once
है?
again, fear being wiped out by whom? In a country that is governed by a president, prime minister, chief minister, home minister, chief justice, 99% of them are Hindus. In a country, just hold
Constitution
on,
is anti-Hindu.
Hold on, who's in 11 years in power with absolute majority?
मैंने क्या कहा अभी?
And the
Explain
two
to
most
me-
powerful men in the
explain to
world,
me
if your
what's
Hindus are
happening-
still going to get, our Hindu fellow citizens are still going to get.
Okay, let's talk about a state.
One second. Just one second.
Let's talk about a
Bahraich
state
the
in
BJP MLA filed an FIR against the BJP Karyakarta saying they started the violence. Now, I'm only keeping it to BJP. I'm not even going to Hindu Muslim. That's the problem. That is the problem. Where do you draw that line? How do you justify one consolidation for defense and not another consolidation for aggression? Both. And how difficult it is to go from defense to aggression.
What do you mean? You can't justify consolidation for aggression.
Once there is consolidation,
Which
how
is
do you
what Sar
defensive-
Tan se juda does.
And it should be
Okay.
criminalized. Which government didn't criminalize
but
it?
do you know a community that consolidates for survival? That is what
And
he's
if
saying.
in
That's
the
the difference.
greatest, in the greatest country in the world, if you have to with 100 crore, 120, 15 crore Hindus, you still have to consolidate because you're scared about 20 crore Muslims with a Prime Minister and Home Minister who are very powerful. That speaks a lot about their governance.
How many Britishers were ruling India at the peak of their power?
Was it Modi ji and Amit Shah ji? They are powerful people. I'm not changing the goalpost.
Yeah, let's talk about a state in east of India.
I'm talking about a constitutional democracy with two very powerful people.
Yeah,
why should Hindus be scared?
Constitutional democracy की problem ये है that there are certain constraints which are put on you. There are certain virtue signaling which as leaders you have to indulge in.
Which is wrong.
Which you partly you have to do and partly you think that is the way you win brownie points all over the place.
But if this is the case...
And you are not able to take an emphatic position or an emphatic stand on any issue. So there are serious problems. So people who come into power feel that they cannot exercise the power. Now, there are some people like Yogi Adityanath who are unapologetic about how they are going to exercise power.
Right.
Some of what he does might be problematic, right? But a lot of what he does is extremely popular because he is willing to put
he
his...
ended crime.
Huh?
Full stop. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, he's ended crime.
But has he ended crime? That's the point.
Yeah, significantly.
No, I don't think.
Significantly.
I think a lot of this police force are involved in crime. But let me come to a larger issue. If Hindus, as our fellow citizens today, are under threat, forget constitutionally, I'm talking life-wise, or the culture is under threat. Why aren't this unification call for children of BJP leaders? Why are their children mingling with the who's who of the world?
For the same reason. For the same reason.
And why is it not with OAC?
For the same
reason.
For the same reason that Congress Party, for all its socialism, was willing to send its kids to education abroad.
I agree.
So there is
and why all DMK leaders send their kids to English medium schools.
I totally agree with you.
Not to
I'm
Tamil
not supporting
So there is going to be that
hypocrisy. That's what I'm talking about. And that hypocrisy has been too many fault lines. Now that happened from 1947. It's time we change for the better. Not go say, oh, DMK did it, Congress did it on different lines, so now we will do it on different lines.
मेरे को इस पे आना है, national security issue है. So I want you and I want Sushant especially.
Are you kidding me?
The IAF signed an MOU with Uber offering exclusive benefits.
Apparently the Navy has already done it.
Yeah. So Air Force personnel, civilian veterans and family presided over with the Air Marshal. And everybody else, and this has been signed. So now, I'm going to come to AI and I'm going to come to all this apps that is being used. Now, this is what we have done, which means Uber will know exactly where all our Air Force personnel are going traveling, because everybody in the family will travel. They know exactly where they're located, where they're traveling, what
and
they're
no
doing.
data protection laws.
No data protection.
And
we have data protection laws. They are implemented in the breach.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you have to say to this?
Boss, imagine
फिर गाली आ
the
रही है,
IAF.
गालीदास है ये।
ये
The
गालीदास।
IAF is the most, any Air Force is the peak of technology in any country.
Exactly.
If this is their understanding of cyber security and cyber hygiene.
गाली आने वाली
नहीं आने वाली है.
अच्छा नहीं.
If this is their understanding of cyber security, cyber hygiene and counterintelligence and intelligence, what does that tell you about the state in the less technology dependent arms?
And they're putting it out on...
And they're putting it out. No, I'm glad they put it out. At least we
we
know now.
No, they put it out to...
इसका डेट
और ये इनका सोच विचार देखो.
The MOU is 1 second. So one is the sheer astounding stupidity of signing an agreement like this. So इसमें तो कुछ बोल ही नहीं सकते, because अगर तुम इतने बड़े बेवकूफ हो, ढक्कन हो कि you do something like this.
बन गए.
मैं तो ढक्कन बोला यार, अभी तो मैं को और बहुत कुछ बोल सकता था. Given my repertoire.
देखो आप पंजाबी हैं. आपको आग लग गई तो. Oh yes.
We can say TKHBC.
Look, we are living in an age 10 years back.
Bizarre.
During wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. For example, if
Pager
you are
उड़ रहे हैं.
wearing pager तो छोड़ दो ना, pager तो बहुत ही classic operation था. As simple as वो Fitbit वाली जो apps थी, the Chinese could figure out which officer was where he was running around in Afghanistan and other places, and people were able to target them.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
When you have that happening, and then you have these idiots who are, as Abhijit says, the Navy and the Air Force are technically the far more advanced than any of, the army is basically Paidal Fauj. These guys, if they do something like this, it is, I don't even have the words to express. And the Navy has already done it.
Collective leadership failure.
And the Navy has already done this.
Collective and
this would have got
compound
clearance
leadership.
from the highest level.
No, they've done it at their
but
own level.
hang on, isn't
Only
this
air marshal
parody
involved.
IAF? It's just MCC. What is MCC at the end?
No, it's an official
No, this might be parody.
No,
it's official.
it's great.
It's
Something
the great
multimedia communications.
center.
So it's bona fide. It's a bona fide.
I can tell you
bro, it's not a blue
couple of
tick. It's a
other
grey
things.
tick. The grey tick is a
do you
government tick.
remember that there was a time where when
अच्छा लोग ताली वही फोटो देखो ना लोग ताली बजा रहे पाजी
They all are
अगर
thinking.
आप वहाँ पे होते तो क्या करते
They all are thinking.
there was a time when if an officer was posted somewhere, if it was a non-family station,
Yeah, they could not-
they couldn't even communicate with their families. They're not supposed to talk to their families. Not just that, the families are not supposed to talk about where their family member has been posted. Subsequently, everything opens up, apps come in, Facebook aa gaya and all. Even in Facebook, they were not supposed to have a profile. Their families were not supposed to post where their father is posted or their mother is posted. They're not supposed to discuss all this. Then it was that don't buy Chinese phones. Don't put social media when you're going on chutti, wherever
And then
you're
you go
going.
ahead and do this.
And then you go and do this. So if the officers can do this, then families
and
mein
then
kya
you,
galti
and
hai?
then you tweet about it very, very proudly. And when the flag comes, you delete the tweet.
Not the
because
agreement.
the flag is coming, not the agreement. Not the
No, but who is
But
our chief of combined staff?
But then over and above
have
that,
one?
Yeah.
over and above that, kiski galti hai?
Did it not
See,
pass through?
kiski galti hai?
Marshal.
We don't have our own apps. So whose fault is it? We keep
No,
criticizing.
we have. Ola.
We keep criticizing. We keep criticizing these big tech companies. YouTube ho jaye, Twitter ho jaye, ki haan, they are wrong, they are this. Monetization rok diya. Like, some of your friends also have had battles with YouTube. They've had battles with Twitter. Where are the Indian apps? Nahi hai.
Smita,
What
मेरे को एक
happened to
चीज
coup?
But do you know,
Finish.
but do you know,
Why-
what
no,
are-
no, no,
what
no,
are
no,
the
no.
conditions of
there
MOU?
is a personalized profile, which means it can't get more open. Sushant is an Air Force officer stationed at Pune, where client make personalized profile will be put up for everyone to
You can read it.
Yeah, so the amazing thing about the MOU is availability of top-rated drivers is one of the advantages of this. Zero cancellation fee for all Uber rides.
So all these big tech companies, what do we do?
No,
Aghast.
How
tell
can
me
we
something.
battle?
Aghast.
India is supposed to be a so-called, quote-unquote, software superpower, right?
Correct.
How many of us
Can you
have
scroll down a
an
bit,
email
please?
app which is an Indian email app?
Coup
Nahi hai.
shut down India.
It was shut.
Huh? Coup is not an email app, na?
It was supposed to be Twitter
right.
के लिए.
So
हाँ.
Hotmail was invented by
Samir Bhai.
But वो वहाँ पर था.
governments have.
अमेरिका में बैठ के
Government
करना है.
has.
So
GOI
NIC
has.
Okay, but please tell me what if you can make something like UPI universal? What prevents you from having a email service?
We don't have it.
We don't have it.
We
So
don't
as
have-
a result, a lot of our serving officers, bureaucrats, diplomats, all kinds of others who have personal emails on which they communicate with
In fact,
people.
that's what they say that this what happened with Vikas Yadav is that he was talking on
So
WhatsApp.
he's a fucking idiot.
So
That's
he
what
was
he
talking
was.
on an American app, and the Americans are reading it all, seeing it all, so they knew exactly what
No,
was
but
happening.
isn't WhatsApp encrypted?
You know how much of governance
please,
in India...
encryption chodo, yeah. There's nothing called encryption.
Smita, do you know how much of
The kind of
governance in
technology
India
America
takes place on
has is
WhatsApp?
another level.
Huh? So
Right?
everything happens on that.
So
yeah.
and everybody, they are such big, the level of
Look at
stupidity.
Telegram, yaar. The Iranians.
Yeah, पकड़ लिया.
Yeah, उनको पकड़ लिया.
नहीं, नहीं,
Telegram
but
पे
एक
सारा
मिनट,
डाला
फ्रांस-
उन्होंने.
फ्रांस ने convict
Everything is
हिंदुस्तान में ना, मैं आज से 15-20 साल पहले की बात कर रहा हूँ. मैं किसी फौजी अफसर से बात कर रहा था, तो आई आस्क्ड हिम के लिसन व्हाट यू डू अबाउट इंश्योरिंग साइबर सिक्योरिटी. मैंने विंडोज पर पासवर्ड लगा दिया. That day I gave up.
Password protect.
विंडोज का जो
Windows पे.
when you log on वो वाला जो पासवर्ड होता है ना, वो विंडोज का पासवर्ड है, मैं किसी के साथ शेयर नहीं करता.
अच्छा.
इतने बड़े ढक्कन
1
थे.
2 3 4 होगा.
तो अब भी यही है ना, हमारी यही कि व्हाट्सएप इनक्रिप्टेड है.
Encrypted. See, there's nothing called encryption.
I'll tell you something even more scary. A certain large software manufacturer, uska India rep was my friend. And they came to me and told me, because they generally thought I'd know because I work in defense, ki one defense service had bought 1,500 permissions for their software. But it had now exceeded vastly. It had gone to 2,600. I was like, how do you know this? Because we've got a backdoor that conveys to us every time it's put onto a new computer.
So this is why I find it frustrating that it is so easy.
have heads rolled for this.
No, they deleted
They
the
will
tweet.
probably get a
अरे
promotion.
delete नहीं,
promotion.
मतलब the person who signed the MOU.
Bro, the agreement is not cancelled. The tweet is deleted. There's a
Yeah.
difference in the two. The agreement stands with a personalized profile. So if you're serving in the Navy or the Air Force, you have a personalized profile of what you fly.
So
and that's
basically,
put up.
if you get caught, then it's a problem.
But
you don't get
I was
caught,
reading
you
the
keep
MOU.
doing.
It's under Digital India. So your thing about Digital India.
So
हिंदुस्तान में ना-
let's talk about something simple.
हिंदुस्तान में एक एक्रोनिम लगा दो किसी भी चीज का सॉलिड सा सागर टाइप का या कुछ वो बिक जाएगा बिकॉज एट द हाईएस्ट लेवल्स इट विल बी अप्रूव्ड एक्रोनिम अच्छा होना चाहिए भीम सागर
Neeta Ambani, Narendra is the alternative. Amazing Modi building a new India.
Okay.
Now-
so one is this.
But tell me something. Why can't you simply get your own Android variant?
Yeah.
You already have enough people working in Google.
Correct.
I think Google's a dangerous company. I think YouTube is an extremely dangerous company.
Why do you need Android? Why don't you get Linux?
No, he's saying your
उसको
own
बोलने दो,
variant.
हाँ,
variant. He's saying a
whatever.
variant like it.
Get your own, get the core and then change it and modify it and have an iOS that's Indian operating system. Okay. वो कर. You know, the Americans are so anal about the phones they give out to all serving officers. They have to be monitored a certain way. Certain things can't be installed. There are locks installed on it. All kinds of stuff that get done to it. Cyber hygiene. India's cyber hygiene
Is as
is
bad as
worse.
the
It is
physical
worse than our public hygiene.
Physical
In
hygiene.
India's cyber hygiene is
है ही नहीं यार.
literally
We need Toto.
Delhi
We
railway,
need Toto.
Delhi
We need
railway
to change
station
it in
ka
Toto.
public toilet is cleaner than the cyber hygiene we maintain in this country.
When
And the
Obama
answer to it is, मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है छुपाने को क्या कोई देख लेगा. That's the
Does
standard
anybody
answer.
remember when that question was asked of Aadhaar? How do you keep the information safe? It is inside 10-foot thick walls. They actually said that in a court deposition.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
They actually said that I was challenging Aadhaar.
See, when you see when
You had Pranab Mukherjee saying that chewing gum से नीचे वो लगाया
चिपकाया हुआ था. When Obama got the BlackBerry, he said this, that I was given a BlackBerry. He was not allowed to use a phone, a cell phone. So when he was president, a BlackBerry was given. So he was thrilled कि मेरे को BlackBerry मिल गया. Then he was told, you can't take pictures, you can't text, you can't surf, nothing. So what do you do with
Correct.
if you can't do any of those things? But that's the president of America. Imagine. Look at all our chief ministers. They're all using phones. You'll see them talking with the phones. You see Mamata Banerjee holding the phone and talking all the time. She's using a cell phone. Oh, how many, if this is the state of our armed forces, imagine our chief ministers, imagine
judges,
everybody.
our judiciary.
Our
This is
judiciary.
I'm just imagining a guy in Uber who's compromised by some this thing. He would have exact details to the T
of where this officer who's in his family, who's in her
Unbelievable.
family, where they stay, what time they get up, what time they get out.
Crazy.
They have this about and our judiciary is all over social
And look at Kashmir, what is happening, where where the blasts are happening. Look at what happened in Delhi, CRPF के school के सामने blast हुआ है. So you're talking about places where in our cantonments there have been bombings which have occurred. So these are such security issues, and we just take national security so easily.
Anything with the internet can be weaponized, and therefore data hygiene is the
did you-
most important thing which we don't have.
Weaponizing
guys,
of internet.
This is a part of a much larger malaise. Let me give you a simple example. Yesterday, there was that tragic building collapse in Bangalore.
Bangalore, yeah.
Okay. You saw the video of how that entire building
Yeah.
comes down. So who will get punished? The builder will get punished, as he should. What about the guy who supplied this building without checking permission? What about the corporator and councillor out there who was meant to be checking all the time? What about the Bijli wala and the water wala who gave connections to that?
The architect who signed
What
it.
about the police
Who allowed
who
the
should have been doing the beat out there, who should have checked and cross-checked the certificates of that coming up? Nothing will be done. The builder will go to jail. Nobody else.
No,
will
he
go
will
to jail.
not go to jail. यार वो
Builder
2-3
also
हफ्ते
not
के लिए
go.
जाएगा, उसके बाद वो
Builder भी
सबको
नहीं
पैसा
जाएगा.
खिला देगा.
ये दिल्ली में वो जो ड्राउन हो गए बच्चे,
कर्नाटका में it's known thing.
Yeah,
सब लोग
that-
the Pune
that
Porsche,
drowning-
the Pune Porsche
Yeah,
वाला,
वो भी निकल गया.
वो भी निकल गया, and now nobody is even
अंसल्स
raising
का
it.
कितना टाइम लग गया था उपहार ट्रेजेडी
And
वो
the
छोड़ो.
payment and the payout was small change for the
अबे
Ansals.
तूने yesterday you only tweeted ना about the Indian judicial system, about that guy who was
Every
pointing.
day I tweet about
No, about the guy who was pointing the gun.
Yeah, Shahrukh.
Shahrukh.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. It was some.
Me.
It was you. के
4 साल, even though you got everything.
when you caught it on camera,
Yeah.
you have not been able to bloody sentence the bugger.
Yeah, and what judiciary की तो बात ही मत करो. 5 crore cases pending, and all we are concerned about is कि why did the Chief Justice pray in and ask for.
And when the same thing happens in a Western country, nobody talks about
Yeah.
it. But in India, it's a sin.
this pisses me off because the liberals, my side, they lose on these
hang on,
points.
we are more liberal than you are. पहले तो
हाँ,
ये
ये
liberal
liberal
का-
बकवास है
My
ये.
side. Okay, my
There are
side.
no liberals on your
Yeah.
side.
There are only liberals on my. Okay,
You
but
are a
my side-
Sanghi.
Okay, I'm a Sanghi.
Yeah, you be
I'm
better
I'm an
proud-
OBC,
proud Sanghi.
OBC Sanghi.
What's going to happen in Maharashtra? Let's put him on the thing.
Totally.
तो हाँ जब
Put
ये
him on
release
totally.
होगा-
I'm telling you, BJP is going to get wiped out in Maharashtra. 55 seats मिलेंगे. 50 from 120 they're down to 108. They're going to come down to
क्या तेरा जो
55.
genuine analysis होता है ना वो गलत होता है, जो तेरा fake analysis होता है वो कई बार ही ठीक हो
So
जाता है.
ये जो 55 सीट आएगा,
He's
और
talking like Kunal Kamra.
and you know Rahul Gandhi will become chief minister.
Chief Minister.
Okay.
I'll tell you what the issue with the MBAs, and again, I'm saying this because I really want Congress.
And
to
Nana
win.
Patole.
I want Nana Patole to become chief minister. That's my personal belief, and I do want MBA to win and Congress to lead the thing. The problem is one man who's really spoiling it is Sanjay Raut. He continuously spoiling it, and I'm saying this because look, this government fell because of Sanjay Raut's statements, the kind of statements he gave. He was going after Kangana, all that. Maharashtra politics isn't like that. People don't like those kind of politics. That's one thing, and it's honestly, it's now getting a little over the top. Secondly, is when you undermine the entire Congress state leadership. When he did that in the Lok Sabha, there was even Ashok Chavan. So there are 3 former chief ministers and Nana Patole in the Congress leadership. Now Ashok Chavan's in the BJP, but there's still 2 former chief ministers and Nana Patole. To tell them, aapki auqat kya hai, hum to Delhi mein direct baat kare. It's not done. It's a national party and the state leadership is respected. You're putting them down. The third thing out here is the entire Shiv Sena vote is the core Congress vote. The Shiv Sena Uddhav ji vote has gone to the BJP and the Eknath Shinde ji. The Marathi Manus vote's gone to Eknath Shinde ji. The Hindutva vote's gone to the BJP. What the Shiv Sena is getting is the core Congress vote, which is the Dalits and the Muslims. The Muslims are voting for the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray for the first time. They've got that. Now the problem also, because I meet a lot of Muslims. So I've just come from Pune, I was in Mumbai and I was in other parts of Maharashtra. I was also in the Vidarbh area.
Pasmandas.
No, all sorts of Muslims. The problem, even when Muslims are asking, this is a very important. Pasmandas
ganda
also.
Yeah,
all
sensible
Muslims.
question. Pooja.
But
Look at the hate on his face. I want the editing team to focus that this Brahminical
Nickel.
prick had absolute hate
Contempt.
when he even pushed his chair back when he realized this man was Pasmandas.
But coming down, the Muslims are asking a very fundamental question. They're saying when the Waqf bill came in, the MPs walked out.
It's Waqf.
The MPs walked
Say
out.
Waqf.
Waqf.
लोग खाना तू क्या कर रहा है साले खाता रहता है खाना कभी बना ले रेस्टोरेंट खोल ले एक
फिर
I'll happily serve there. I might even make some authentic Tamilian dishes with drumsticks. Drumstick की
No,
तमिल
you're
बता
going to
क्या?
start this all over
Drumstick
again.
की तमिल
To be
बता क्या?
fair,
हाँ.
he actually knows how to cook a sambar.
There we go.
You know,
there we go.
Abhijit, you fell for this because
What?
Paspanda was being spoken about in his Brahminical supremacy mode. He interrupted that conversation.
Did
So
the
let's-
camera focus the moment you said Pasmanda? He pushes his chair back and cringes in his jacket.
Let me repeat that in case it was. So hang on. Are you saying you're actually Pasmanda?
I will come to my family lineage later, but all the Muslims that I'm meeting are very disturbed because they all voted for Shiv Sena. They don't know what the stand of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray group is on their issues. The Waqf issue, for example, when the bill was introduced, they walked out of parliament. So you are taking the Congress vote, you're undermining the Congress, you're mocking the state leadership. And look, it's in Maharashtra where Congress was born. The first session was to be held in then Pune, now Pune, and it was held in Bombay, now Mumbai.
The
So-
Britisher.
No, it was enough of Indians, including Tyabji, Dadabhai Naoroji, all Indians. So,
Alan Octavian Hume.
Hume
And
Congress.
One.
Dadabhai
Yeah, but the
Naoroji
rest
was a
of them-
member of the British Parliament.
yeah, but he was Indian.
So the
But
point,
this is not that Congress, so carry on. This is Indira Congress.
the point that we are making is,
This is like saying Jagmeet Singh is an Indian.
but the point is that today has to now decide, as a voter, I feel, how long can the organization lose yet another state? Because
It's a fair point,
because
but then-
organization-wise, it's very strong in Maharashtra. Should it lose it? So I think that's something they have to decide.
Tehseen,
Secondly,
you are 100% right. Let me interrupt you. Has there been a statement come out of Rahul Gandhi post Haryana election?
No, I don't think Rahul ji should look at this, but I do think that...
Then who else will look
He's
at it?
campaigning now for Priyanka. Both of them, he was
Today,
there.
today
They were
she
both
is,
there. Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
But I think you have to look at it that you can't sacrifice the state unit only to keep BJP
They already
out
have.
completely. And you know, there's one more problem that I have.
भाई 1-1
this is-
बीजेपी कांग्रेस फाइट में आपको पता है रिजल्ट क्या होने वाला है?
नहीं, ऐसे नहीं है. ये इसलिए हो रहा है. See, there's again, there are too many layers to this. Let's not go into too many details. I'll take too much time. There's also one more thing, Smita, you will agree with me, and I think Abhijit, you've agreed with me on this. Where the regional parties get strong, the Congress gets weak.
Which you said this
Which
before
is-
on the
and
podcast. I
who's-
totally agree
and
with it.
who-
But what I'm trying to say is that everybody thought in MVA it's a done deal that you're going to have Uddhav as CM
Why?
candidate, but it's not.
I
anymore.
don't understand why.
Yeah.
As a voter,
No
as
longer.
a voter, I don't understand. Again, I'm just speaking as a voter. Why should Uddhav ji be CM? I have nothing against him. But why should he be CM? Why can't Nana Patoli be CM or Bala Sahib Thorat be CM? Why shouldn't it be a Congress CM?
So there, the MVA is already not decided
और
who's
अभी
going
पवार
to
ने
be.
तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं.
अभी तो हाँ.
I think whoever
he has
gets
announced the highest
within the
seats.
MVA,
Candidate.
whoever gets the highest number of seats
Should.
nominate the CM.
I
Acha,
agree.
The
And
other
Mr.
thing,
Pawar said
before we wrap up, I also want to say this, that by the time we shoot the next episode, you're going to have 2 members of the Gandhi family in Parliament, in the Lok Sabha,
You're being
and
One
you
in
have,
Rajya Sabha.
and you have, no, both will be in Lok Sabha.
Mrs. Gandhi in
and
Rajya
Mrs.
Sabha.
Gandhi in Rajya Sabha, yes, but 2 in Lok Sabha, and you have member of that Ek Parivar as Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, something that everybody from the BJP, from number 1 to number 2 to number 4 to number 10 had said कि ये परिवार खत्म हो जाएंगे, ये 3 परिवार जम्मू कश्मीर में नहीं आएंगे, and there will be the end of परिवारवाद and Congress Mukt Bharat. You've come to that situation by 2024 end where the siblings are going to be in Lok Sabha, the mother is going to be in Rajya Sabha. Where is that whole claim that the BJP had made?
No, that is a slogan, yeah. That
Yeah,
is
it's not. I
it's
don't
a
think
political
it's just a
slogan.
There is as much
because on a
Parivarwad
number of
in
occasions.
BJP than
No, one
as
second.
it is
On a number of occasions, the BJP has also said that look, when we say Congress Mukt Bharat, it's more of a slogan. It's good to have a good opposition party. In fact, for the BJP, it's also an asset to have an opposition party like the Congress.
and Rahul.
Especially Rahul.
ठीक है, so one is that factor, but the other thing is that look यार, at the end of the day हम जितना मर्जी परिवारवाद बोलते रहें, bottom line is that they have to go to the hustings, right? And if the people are not going to vote for them, as they will not for many others, so even Mehbooba Mufti is परिवारवाद, nobody voted for her. Right? She lost the
But
election
that's
really
not the
badly.
point. It was just
Not
that
just,
that the Omar
her daughter
Abdullahs
also.
that the
She
Abdullahs
lost.
would not come
Sukhbir
and the
Badal
Gandhis.
lost.
I think now at 2024 the Gandhis are also very much around. The Abdullahs are also very much around.
Yeah.
And Rahul Gandhi, just till 2 months back, all the newspapers, all the TV channels, this is the resurrection of RG.
But notice after Haryana, they've
After
gone quiet.
Haryana, they've all gone to saying that this guy didn't keep up with it as usual.
Which
Victory
is why 2024 was a black swan event.
was a black swan event.
Yes.
I think BJP did too many mistakes. Is that what you're saying?
Too many mistakes.
retrospect.
That cutting of the umbilical cord with the
वरना तो 400 पार कह रहे थे, हम
RSS led to a massive loss of ground intelligence. Too much corrupted information getting to the top leadership.
Not listening
Pointless
to Yogi.
mistakes.
Not listening
too
to Yogi much.
Too much hubris.
Infighting.
Hubris, mostly. They didn't, I mean, they've already redeemed themselves in Haryana. They didn't repeat that mistake, right? Now let's see how it goes in Maharashtra.
Do you think in Haryana they were lucky to just get away with it?
You know what the difference in
They're
seats
not
were?
No, they were not.
You don't
A
know.
lot of
Congress was-
work went to
The
it.
Congress completely lost the plot. So sorry, I'm interrupting.
Because even I
They-
thought,
you know,
being from
Yeah.
Haryana,
entire-
I thought they'll lose.
that entire.
आपका तो खट्टर के
finish,
साथ
I'll tell you.
इसका
In 20 seats, in 20
Tehseen
seats,
को complete.
नहीं,
the
इसको करने दो,
total
फिर
of
मैं
20 seats that the BJP won, the total victory margin in all those 20 seats was just 19,000 votes.
That's true, but
In
I want to.
20 seats, it was 90.
Yeah, so in some
Cumulatively.
places 50,
15,
40,
40.
60.
Yeah.
What?
So-
Votes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
winning like that.
And assembly, but you know, I'll tell you where the Congress really lost. It was election management. That entire Mahendragarh area, which is the
तो वही मैं
Yadav,
बोल रहा हूँ ना,
the-
it was
which is the
by-
Achha,
Yadav
let's not
belt.
get into
No,
granular.
I'm not getting into granular.
But what I'm trying to say is
But-
that I saw this podcast on Kapil Sibal hosted a podcast. I mean, all of you now are going on podcasts.
So Kapil Sibal is my mentor. Huh? I
Okay,
have to
so
tell
he
you
did a
this.
podcast and
I
he
saw.
was very
With Nirja.
clear
With
in that.
Nirja,
Yeah,
yeah.
with Nija and that. And Nija kept saying that what happened with Selja was wrong. And their line was that she shouldn't have spoken about it openly when she spoke on my podcast and when she said that what happened. So she shouldn't have that. It was negative. 14 din campaign nahi kiya and all that. So let's not get into the granular of Haryana. But what he's saying is that it was a black swan event. What happened in 2024 general elections? BJP has learnt its lesson. Has Congress learnt its lesson? Because BJP does this Chintan Manthan after every election. Does the Congress do its Chintan Manthan? Have they done it?
They do
I
it, but they
don't. I
don't
don't.
follow
I
it.
don't think. I don't. No, I don't think.
That's a fact.
No,
नाम के
can
वास्ते
I
करते हैं।
say something very serious? I don't think the Congress has learned its lesson. The same people who were responsible for destroying the Congress in Delhi,
Dugal Sahab.
the same people. No, Dugal, I'm coming to last.
Dugal
The same
secondary.
people who was responsible for destroying the Congress. I'm talking Congress people who destroyed
Jairam.
the Congress in Delhi.
Name them,
Then
no?
in Punjab, were responsible for Haryana. फिर उन्होंने ही मीटिंग बुलाई, वही इंचार्ज है. See, you can't blame Hooda or Shailaja. If I want to be chief minister, I'll want most of my supporters to get tickets. If you're going to be chief minister, you'll want most of your supporters. That is what should be managed by those who've been sent from Delhi. If you don't manage them, if you make it one-sided, why are you blaming Hooda Sahab now today? Today, even it's wrong to blame Hooda Sahab. I'm saying that as well. You may say he got most tickets. Why? Who asked you to give? देने वाले तो आप थे ना. Why should you have given?
But
You
are
should
they
have
doing
balanced.
this? Are they making the
It's
same
the
mistake?
same people who distributed
in
the ticket.
Maharashtra also they're making similar mistakes because now it's ticket distribution
well,
time.
The
they are-
mistake in Haryana was much more
And-
serious because
and-
it was just Congress versus BJP.
No, there
In
was-
Maharashtra, they have an alliance,
But
so
they're
they can get
fighting
away
now
with.
here.
No, so why I'm telling you about the Mahendragarh thing was not the granular. I want to tell you one thing. There was an entire Yadav citizens who were upset with what happened in UP. They were upset. I'm not saying they're the same Yadavs. They were upset. The Congress didn't tap into that area. That's all around Gurugram. You could have tapped into that, gotten Akhilesh, given him one seat, got Akhilesh to
But
campaign.
now Akhilesh wants 12 seats in Maharashtra.
That is also up to you're down. He'll obviously ask for. He's going to do his politics. So again, this entire thing, unless you don't win, how is it going to work? I don't think the Congress realized. And then you have these Dugal Saabs who will say tsunami hai Congress ke liye, ye hai, wo hai. They'll give you wrong thing.
But they'll
Acha,
go on channels also, huh? The channels call them
same,
again
same
and again.
two journalists.
What? I
Same
can't
journal-
understand.
Acha, Dugal Saab, I have
One
to tell
election
you,
after the other, you're wrong. And I can't understand Pranoy Roy, who we all grew up, right? Understanding election analysis from Pranoy Roy. We are all consumers of that. At least my
was the
generation is
pioneer.
your
We
pioneer.
all grew up, he didn't.
Abhi, he's still taking
why Pranoy? Even mainstream channels?
are taking Yogendra
9
Yadav as
p.m. mainstream channels. But I'll tell you what, and you have to fact. Dugal Saab, before Himachal elections, gives an interview. Now imagine the cadre how demotivated it gets. Says Congress is losing Himachal. Congress wins Himachal. To one of the Dainics. Here he gives an interview, tsunami Ari, you lost the election. Why are you talking? Why are you getting involved with this? I don't get this. So this is now
So
sort of
on
become
what
bizarre.
basis did he go to Maharashtra right now?
I have no idea. But the people of Maharashtra understand a lot. It's all, the people of Maharashtra is often the land of Ambedkar's Karam Bhumi, but is also Shivaji Maharaj's
Achha, okay,
Janmbhumi.
finally, conclusion. I want to come on a lighter note. इतना heavy बात
बहुत
किया.
heavy हो
गया.
बहुत heavy हो गया. What are you watching on OTT platforms? Anyway, one by one, let's take. What are you watching?
Hysteria. It's awesome. It's about this satanic murders happening in the 80s in America, and how this rock band who nobody pays attention to, they decide, oh yeah, this is a good way to gain fame, so let's pretend we're Satanists. and things just go downhill from there. It's hilarious. It's scary and it's hilarious. So
Okay.
I think it's awesome.
What are you watching?
Manvat Murders are based on footprints on the sand. I read the book, and it's a phenomenal a book about black magic and tantra, because I follow tantra. How these murders took place. Yeah, I do a lot of tantra. I do a lot of tantra.
And still Rahul
I'm a
Gandhi
Bhairav,
loses.
I'm a Bhairav worshipper and I do a lot of tantra.
Okay.
4 a.m. every day. So Manvat is based on how these tantrics, so-called, do 6 or 7 murders of young girls in this place called Manvat in Maharashtra, which then led to the black magic bill coming into Maharashtra. So it's a phenomenal series. Ashutosh Gowarikar is acting in it, who directed Lagan and Swadesh.
Is it in Hindu?
Do you watch only what your family tells you to watch?
Your language.
I don't watch anything with my
Like
family.
the bachas tell you, कि dad watch this.
I don't watch anything with my family.
You're a happy
Because my wife has this habit of putting on some show and then going off to sleep. When I switch off the television, she fights with me. Why have you switched it off? I was watching it. I am doing this in front of her eyes and she's sleeping. The moment I switch it off, she wakes up and she fights
कामकाजी
with me.
महिला है, please ऐसे मत बोलिए.
हाँ, तो
हाँ.
अब मैं
She
बोलता हूँ
doesn't
why
have to watch it. She's listening.
हाँ,
to
तो
it.
I keep telling
Sensory
her, why are you
perception.
inflicting this on me? There's only one thing which we watch together, which is Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
That's our dinner time watch. And we laugh our nuts off watching it. Personally, the one which I've loved again, I've loved all 4 seasons of it, Slow Horses on
Yeah,
Apple
Slow
TV
Horses.
Plus.
You should have asked me
It's
before.
awesome.
Huh.
The other one which I would strongly recommend is on Hotstar again. It's Shogun.
Okay.
Brilliant. Absolutely top class brilliant.
अभी किसी ने हिंदी नहीं बोला. Okay.
मैंने बोला.
So I alternate between, basically I scroll it, but I have him to thank. In one of our shows, he said, watch Slow Horses. Is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Their sense of humor and everything is top notch. So that, plus I started ऐसे बीच में Vogue पे एक है, about the famous editor of Vogue.
Yeah.
Anna.
Yeah.
Wintour.
Anna Wintour, and I mean basically it's
Yeah, her life.
tracing
See, they don't bring out the fact that Karunanidhi was her inspiration. Because he started
glasses.
wearing dark
and
glasses indoors and at night.
not just Anna. It's
There's
you've
another
seen
Anna
his DP as
who
well.
conned everybody.
Yeah, that's an entire show.
Yeah, there's another Anna
Okay.
who's conned everybody.
Somebody gets a gift box if you tell me, if you can guess what I'm watching or what I watched.
Give us a hint.
You got mail.
No, give us a hint.
Hindi.
ना.
I'm
You
not
watched
telling.
Hindi.
हिंदी इंग्लिश कुछ तो बताए
Regional.
ऐसे कैसे कोई
You
guess
watched
कर सकता
regional,
है?
that's for sure.
Regional, Tamilian.
You watched Hindi. You watched Hindi for sure.
Okay, let me do this another.
Voodoo.
हाँ.
Tell me right now or I'll poke this into your eyes.
I thought ये कोई करने वाला है.
voodoo करने
voodoo
वाला है,
करने वाला है.
चलो बताओ. सीधा तुम्हारे
No, but okay. Now, can you give us some hint? Which OTT
कुछ तो
platform?
बताओगे यार, ऐसे-
Netflix, Amazon, मतलब कुछ-
Netflix.
Netflix पे. Okay.
IC184.
Scene.
उलझ.
No, one second. No, one
I
second.
don't know what's
वो
on Netflix.
पंचायत जैसा एक फिल्म आई है ना, लापता लेडीज.
Scene.
अरे
नहीं
यार,
नहीं, ये मैं बता रहा हूँ कोई बहुत ही वो प्लेबियन टाइप का होगा जो ये देख रही होगी. ये तो मैंने गेस ठीक है.
टार्जन.
नहीं, it will be something.
मामला लीगल है.
नहीं, I'll tell you. It will be something really
No,
cheesy.
this is cheating. You can't. do
I'm
this.
just seeing कौन से मेरे को
तो
पता
ये तो
भी नहीं
cheating है
कौन
ना.
कौन
चलो रहने दो ना.
बता
इतनी मेहनत मत
अच्छा,
करो. I
बताओ.
saw Bollywood Wives.
अच्छा,
okay.
हो.
वो अभी तो अभी आई है यार. वो तो अभी आई है.
नहीं, but उसका नया वर्जन आया, Fabulous Lives versus Bollywood Wives.
So I met Madhur
So
Bhandarkar at.
I was expecting you in those.
Because I thought Delhi versus Bombay हो रहा था ना. So these society
So
women
Birdie's
of
in the-
Delhi with the
Birdie's in
society
the
women of
Delhi thing.
So we've done this Bombay-Delhi fight so often. So I was just wondering whether we,
But
you know,
that's
what
just.
are the...
I've seen the first episode of that, by the way.
What is it? Fabulous
just
Wives?
Fabulous Lives.
That you know,
Which is Delhi Lives versus Bollywood
Wives.
Wives.
So this the whole
Because you know,
was
Bombay
Oh
High
my
Society
God.
is so bling bling.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was
No,
expecting you
bling
to be
with-
in one of those things.
Delhi High Society is not bling.
Fabulous Lives.
It
हंस
is,
क्यों रहा
but
है?
Doing
it's,
what?
Boss,
let's
तो
say it's
West Delhi, North Delhi.
no, West and North. Listen, when we talk about Delhi, we're realistically only talking about South Delhi, okay?
Ha.
Because the others are just, it's like, you know, South.
Even
see,
Latvians
South
are-
Delhi.
Can you not complete your sentences? साला ये बाद में जो पूरी 15 million लोगों को offend कर देता है, हमें उस पर भुगतना पड़ता है.
South Delhi is the apartment. West Delhi is the servants' quarters. North Delhi is the servants' bathroom. East Delhi is the storage room. you know, and
But people don't forgive
And
you.
south
you know?
of Delhi?
ये जो
Central
कह रहा है,
Delhi,
they
एक
will
second.
bring
What
it
is
back.
Central Delhi?
Then one day, like when I was saying, somebody said,
इसीलिए तो कह रहा हूँ ये.
somebody used a very, wrong
I completely
pronunciation of an
dissociate
English
myself
word.
with any
so मैंने
comments that
गलती से
Abhijit-
बोल दिया.
No, no,
Disclaimer.
he only told me to make
Disclaimer.
it.
They never
I
forgive you for
completely-
it.
He told me to make this comment. He
शालम
actually
भाई
WhatsApped
इसको अगर आप click
अच्छा, what
करोगे-
about south of Delhi?
No, what is the
South of
central
Delhi.
Delhi?
Haryana is talking to.
It's
Listen, Haryana, please, nobody from Delhi can afford to buy that apartments.
हाँ, भाई.
कितने करोड़ के आ रहे हैं वो जो
पता
नए
नहीं
वाले?
यार.
Because it's the
Yeah.
least.
Something
87 is the
really
least.
obscene.
87 is the least. It's the smallest.
but you know that
No,
No,
it's
they
not.
are coming with
It's
new
not
ones
chameleon.
now, which are almost
It is
100.
camellia, like the flower.
But you know, you
It's the
go
flower.
you go to Hyderabad and Madras,
Yeah.
and
you
you see
said
the
that.
quality of
The
apartments
wealth
out there.
that you see
yeah,
out
I'm looking
there.
at DLF going DLF. ये तो servants quarters है boss compared to what.
But
they
you
do.
know,
Pune
I
is
went to
apartments.
Hyderabad and
The
I was.
apartments in
This
Pune.
is during the
Come
height
on,
of
you
monsoon.
didn't come.
Pune is some very nice.
It was
Mine-
raining
yeah.
for like. It was raining Hyderabad 24 hours. There was no water logging on the streets. They planned, but the city is crowded, everything, but you know, they've taken care of civic infrastructure much better. You go to Gurgaon, you're living in 60 crore apartments and it's like a cesspool outside
It
your
is.
house.
Yeah.
And in Hyderabad, on those roads, you can drive at 120
So your
kilometers per
apartment-
hour
your
in the
apartment
center
is
of the
the
city.
60
You shouldn't drive
No,
at
no, not
120
mine.
kilometers anyway.
You should.
Middle class.
Don't
Yeah,
please.
You should be like
Don't
Germany
listen.
and drive at 320.
Please don't listen to Abhijit.
But
In-
you,
in my
but in
lane-
Delhi
in my
or
lane,
in Gurugram, they will say this, you know.
we are
"हम
like the
apartments
LIG
में
of
नहीं
that
रह सकते. We can only stay in houses. That is the South Delhi aunties. Compared to the Bombay aunties who tell you, तुम लोग घरों में कैसे रहते हो यार? You have so many entries and exits. We can't live out here.
I agree with that.
Smita, that
But
show is bizarre, yaar.
It's
Those
bizarre.
women, the Delhi women are. उसमें वो भी आई हुई है, रणबीर कपूर's
Birdie.
sister.
Birdie.
हाँ, so but like
She's possibly the most sensible of
Very
that
much.
lot.
She's-
No,
But I'm
she's very
sorry,
sensible.
yeah. Like honestly, with Bombay, you know, it's this social mixing that. How can you have a nice apartment in a slum next to it? I don't think it's very the done thing.
please,
Like-
even the Ambanis, their house is
I
right
know,
next
which
Well,
is
tell
what
me
is so
something.
disgusting.
The
That's
whole of
on Waqf land, by
Gurgaon
the
is a slum.
Yeah.
So if you have a 60 crore apartment in the middle of a slum, what's the big
But
deal
like
about
he
it?
said, it's in
But
Waqf
that's why
land.
it's built like a Camellia's a servant quarter.
नहीं,
Magnolia's a
है,
servant
वो-
quarter.
मत कर
If you are
यार
ill-
अभी वो वैसे ही कोई स्पॉन्सर
नहीं,
नहीं
नहीं,
है
देखो,
अभी
ओले का पड़ रहा है,
नहीं,
अभी
नहीं,
DLF
नहीं,
वाला
no,
सूट
no,
है।
no, you're wrong.
अभी वो
DLF को sponsorship.
अभी वो जाके
Listen,
Ola
if you
has
have-
gone.
क्यों DLF ने ऑफर किया
नहीं।
क्या?
एक रुपए नहीं
So,
दिया
so see, we should be like all this caravan news laundry types. We should do negative things, and then we'll say, "Agli baar I will do a special on shitty DLF building quality. तुम हमको पैसा
देखो
दो."
अब नहीं होता at this stage in
तो
life
ये
ना,
सब
can't do all
extortionist
this.
ठुल्ले हैं ना, तो
नहीं, नहीं,
हम
but
भी
listen,
ऐसा
no,
करते
but to be
हैं।
fair to the DLF guys, they have managed their properties the best.
Okay, let me be clear about one thing. Their receptions are fantastic.
No, even otherwise.
Okay.
Even no, listen.
But the anti-pigeon measures, the quality of fittings and
यार देख, अब
features,
तू ना
pigeon
बहुत
measures,
उसमें मैं bottom line देखो बता रहा
He
हूँ.
was the
Space
one.
planning.
Listen,
He was the one talking
the
about
space planning.
disparity इतनी नहीं है. साला अब एंटी पिजन मेजर्स की बात कर रहा
Hello,
है.
I'm
यार
not
रहने
talking
को
about.
खोल ही नहीं है.
I'm
नहीं,
not
नहीं, एक
talking
मिनट.
ज़्यादा
about
बोलेगा ना, पिटाई कर दूंगा
interpersonal
तेरी.
disparities.
नहीं,
I'm talking about
Abhijit,
regional disparities.
Abhijit, I am comparing them with all the other developers.
In Gurugram.
They have managed their properties the best.
यार
They have
I
made
don't
sure.
know.
No, I'm telling you.
Could
the
be.
moment MCG has taken over the municipal functions, they've screwed it up. As long as DLF is managing, they have done
Robert
a
Vadra has done
fabulous
a
job.
fantastic
No
अभी
doubt about it.
disclaimer लगा दो I don't live in a DLF property.
No,
None of
I
us-
live in my own.
Own
I
house.
to live in my
मतलब
in-laws' house.
I wouldn't dream of buying a DLF property even if I had the money to do it. But I've seen amazing builders in Pune, even in Surat.
But you won't live in Noida.
Noida में कौन
Have you
रहता है?
visited
Nevada.
Trump? Have you visited Trump Tower in India?
That's,
Yeah, but it's not that great because it's Lodha built. No?
Oh, is
So
it?
अच्छा
No.
I'm talking about Pune. I'm talking about Pune.
So
It's
Very
there's
impressive.
one coming up in Gurgaon.
2025
it's beautiful.
what 2025 do you have a New Year's resolution? What do you want out of 2025? Last question.
2025 will be a mark.
नहीं हमारा न्यू ईयर
December होगा ना, हम क्या कर रहे हो?
2025, my New
Excuse
Year's
me.
resolution
No, no.
is I will lose 25 kilos.
हम न्यू ईयर्स ईव पे नहीं
हम लोग
मिलते.
No,
हम
I'm
लोग
meeting after
न्यू ईयर
Maharashtra.
में करेंगे ना अब.
अच्छा.
नहीं December after Maharashtra.
हाँ.
नहीं, फिर ना
देखो
करवाएंगे.
पैसे बचा रही हैं.
नहीं
पैसे बचा रही
नहीं,
हैं. देखो.
अच्छा let's do one
no,
in
no,
January.
Goa please. Can you go to Goa?
Goa. हाँ.
एक 2 घंटे में पहुंच
Can you
जाएंगे.
ask Nidhi
You
to
guys were supposed
Beach
to
पे. Can we do 1 minute?
Let's
consensus.
Let's do it
Consensus.
at Tarun Tejpal Hyatt.
Who can
यार,
afford
such a
Goa
nice
in
property.
January? You're mad or what?
नहीं,
Nobody
December
can
Eve.
afford.
तुम मालकिन हो इस फॉरेन इंटरफेरेंस का तेरे को पैसा नहीं मिला
No,
हमको
listen.
कनाडा में करते हैं।
कनाडा से लेंगे कनाडा
Listen,
से
I have an
लेंगे
idea. We can do it in Maharashtra. I'll speak to the fabulous builders there, and we'll do one
Ara.
I'll tell you what.
thing. Come on your own. I'll do Maharashtra.
Let's ask
I'll
the
be down.
Canadian High Commission for funding.
Let's do that.
कोई
That's
बचा है
a good
वहाँ
one.
पे बेचारों?
होगा?
होगा. अच्छा बताओ
I'm
ना.
sure the cultural attaché is still there.
So what do you want?
No,
out of-
they'll ask only one
No,
question.
no.
Are you Khalistanis?
हम दोनों तो होंगे ही
Are you
नहीं.
criminals?
Are you criminals?
We are
If yes,
most welcome.
Yeah, come on.
हमको
I
तो
will produce a persecution certificate from my MP.
He charges 80,000 for that.
Huh.
And when asked why, he says I have to run my party. He actually said that.
अच्छा tell me what do you expect out of less wars? 2025?
No. It's going to get worse. I think
get
2026
really
is going to be the
worse.
worst.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, the beginning of
अरे
the
ट्रम्प
worst.
की तो बात ही नहीं
And
करी
what
है।
are you doing? Are you going to go on a diet? Have you tried all your diets?
I'm already doing OMAD. But in
हो गया?
2025, I'm going to... That's it.
What is
Food for
OMAD?
one meal a day.
Oh my God, OMAD.
And
ये तो nomad OMAD का कुछ।
हाँ.
And 2025 is 25 kilos.
तेरे ऊपर कोई फर्क तो नहीं पड़ा 1 meal a day का?
He wants
खुद
to
अपने आप को देख रहे मोटे?
मील को फर्क पड़ गया। मील कह रहा है अब जैसे होता है ना लगान में।
ऐसे
मेम साहब,
बोल रहा है
ये
जैसे
मुझसे
पता नहीं कोई डाइट गुरु बन गया हो इसकी शक्ल देखो
he's eating one meal a day. We eat your pudding, my pudding, and his
I
pudding.
know.
Pavam. Okay. Tehseen, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
I hope that Congress wins Maharashtra.
Okay.
State
I support you, brother. कांग्रेस ही जीतेगा महाराष्ट्र.
Yeah.
बीजेपी जाए भाड़ में. जय राहुल गांधी. जय कांग्रेस.
जय महाराष्ट्र
जय महाराष्ट्र.
Okay.
National, I hope India remains stable as it is. So whatever is happening in the region,
India is in the alliance or India is in the country?
the country. Bharat.
Okay.
Cruel
India,
you are,
India.
Sushant.
Both remain stable. India lands and the country both remain
Okay.
stable. Whatever is happening around it.
And personally?
Personally, I'm looking forward for my first holiday with Zurwan abroad.
Okay.
So we haven't gone abroad. So we're doing Sri Lanka because we want to do the first one close by and then Dubai. So
It's a beautiful place.
Ha.
Sri Lanka and Dubai.
Sushant, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
I'm not looking forward to the 20s at all. I think it's going to be a horrible decade. I agree with Abhijit. Maybe I'm just depressive. I foresee more turbulence going forward. We'll have to see what happens in the US. But regardless of what happens, there'll be turbulence. What else? Yeah, I wish I get a lottery of about 100 crores, which I'm not going to get. I have no such ambitions as him to become a diet guru because I know it's a lost cause and a lost war. तो ये करते रहे
नहीं
जो भी
यार,
कर रहा है।
When you win that 100
यार
crore
उसके लिए हार्ट
lottery,
अटैक होना जरूरी होता है हाँ अदरवाइज नहीं होता ये
when you win that 100 crore lottery, Papa, remember I'm your son.
of course you are
No, seriously, Sushant, if it can work on Anand, who is like a chain
no,
smoker,
he is. Look, but
and
see, he's an extremist by temperament, right? In everything, he's an extremist. So even when
आप कौन से moderate हो?
मैं तो बहुत moderate आदमी हूँ.
अच्छा, रहने दो.
Yeah,
मैं
he is.
see, I indulge in excess of everything. ठीक है?
He's a gentle
but
giant.
I'm not an
He's a
extremist
gentle
like
giant.
him. So he's very black and white. Now once he's made up his mind that he's going to do something. अब वो समोसा पड़ा हुआ था. मैंने भी सोचा था मैं नहीं
देखो
खाऊंगा.
मेरे सामने ही रखा
2-3 खा गया मैं. ये जब ये वाले जो पेस्ट्री आई थी तो मैंने बोला नहीं ले जाओ. फिर पड़ी हुई है तो खा ली. तो I'm in that sense I give in to indulgences.
Okay.
I believe in Oscar Wilde. The best way to resist temptation is to yield to it. Yeah. So I do that. But see, he has managed to do what he's done, which is remarkable.
Remarkable.
Because he's a fanatic, right?
I agree.
I can't do that.
I mean, in pre-social media times, I think all of us would have charged him for even taking our names. You know, but ठीक है, social media में everybody has a right to comment. But anyway, what was the question? What do
2025.
2025. Exactly the same as this. We are so inconsequential, looking at one day at a time. It's not about depression, it's being realistic, you know. Kal ko gaye, I mean, that's what I think COVID taught us.
हाँ.
You know, and we've just forgotten about COVID as if it didn't just, you know, just came in like a waft of air just flew by. But that lesson that it gave, so many of our, personally I've lost friends,
Yeah.
everyone did. For what? Just, so.
You feel that way? That
Totally. I was always a nihilist, but
You become fatalist.
It's just tomorrow,
I completely have a different take after COVID. I'm just grateful for every day.
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं होता अगर I have not achieved this.
So
कुछ नहीं होता if I've lost that.
It's exactly the same.
But I just feel that I am just grateful for every day, which I didn't. I used to get, कि आय ये हार गया, आय वो competitor ये ले गया. We lost on this story, we lost on that story. Now, of course, it bothers me that a competitor takes a story away or gets more views on something that I had done, but he got more views or she got more views. But I'm still grateful at the end of the day that I'm alive.
So
My family
can
is
I
alive.
ask you a difficult question? Have you thought of retiring?
For retiring, I don't think I can.
वो peace जो है ना, वो तभी आएगी when you think I want to I can retire tomorrow. Can you do that?
I
No.
disagree with that. I think Osho says something beautiful. He said your work should be so beautiful that you don't want to retire.
See,
from it.
sometimes when I look at Abhijit, he's like completely hedonistic.
Yeah.
And I see him in, dinners and among people, very hedonistic. He's eating everything. He's laughing at everything.
Living
but
that
at some point of time, I noticed वो अंदर चला गया अपने में ही है मस्त.
And the ability to get
So
both.
I can disconnect very
Yeah.
And that's an amazing
Or
quality.
he withers away from a party and he's just gone away somewhere.
And I
He's
think,
disappeared.
and yet when you come back in the party of the life,
हाँ.
and then you go away. And I think that's such an amazing, and I really,
And he doesn't
I love
take
this about-
offense अगर किसी
Yeah.
ने उसको बोला गुस्सा नहीं है
it's just-
बोल दिया उसको. He also says nasty things. And
But yeah, I grew up
How
in a
much?
culture where saying nasty things was how you kind of
Showed love?
It was an endearment.
Yeah, showed love, yeah.
Kushwant Singh says this in his book.
I didn't. So for me, it came as a shocker when I met you first, frankly. हाँ कि पटाख से बोल जाता है
No,
ये,
but
you know?
the question there is, how many people to whom you've said nasty things you are still friends with?
It doesn't matter to him.
No,
But
he
you
doesn't
accept-
say it to people he's friends with.
वही है
No,
ना?
he says it.
नहीं बोलता.
या friends रहता है तो उनके साथ.
नहीं नहीं
नहीं
but-
रहता.
Look, he is nasty to people who are nasty to you. Are you nasty otherwise?
I think I'm a good friend to people.
हाँ.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm
a
saying.
good friend also involves telling
Tell
the
the
friend
truth.
a bitter truth.
हाँ, he tells me.
No, one second. Telling a bitter truth is perfectly okay. Being nasty to somebody who you claim is a friend of yours is a completely different
I keep
ballgame.
Punjabi shaming him.
नहीं नहीं यार वो
I
तो
keep
ठीक है ना
Kannadiga shaming her.
no so that is look that
I
is
keep
why
No,
मजाक
that is
नहीं है.
banter you keep doing it to me also but that is banter
but people
right
don't realize, even on Twitter, it's kind of banter.
See, I'll tell you
But-
what, Sushant. Now, suppose he's attacked one person who I may like, I may not like, I may be neutral towards him. Most people will think, अरे अगर ये उसके बारे में ऐसे बोल रहा है तो मेरे बारे में भी बोल सकता है. You know, because he takes very strong views. I mean, हम लोग सब, we don't like a particular individual, but we will not say it. But he has no filter in that way. कुछ भी बोल देगा, he'll mimic them, he will use gandhi words for them also on Twitter. And then you'll have people telling her that he's your friend. He says these things. उसको बोलती क्यों नहीं है? चुप करना. मैंने कहा नहीं, क्यों बोलूं?
मैं तो कई बार बोल चुका हूँ उसको then I realized कि it's pointless
But that's
because
changing.
that's
That's
him.
changing, Abhijit. Why would you want to change?
No, I have
No,
no, yaar.
but-
Listen.
so that
look,
he doesn't get
about
blowback.
him, I've told him a number of times. You are a very serious guy at one level,
हाँ.
right? And when you do this kind of frivolous stuff, you lose your own the gravitas which is around you. You lose it, right?
Correct.
You know,
In
he
whose
doesn't give a
eyes?
shit about it.
In whose eyes?
Yeah, in
In
anybody's eyes,
in
yaar.
eyes of in eyes of some Pappu in
नहीं,
Pune
it's
or
not about
some
some
Monto
Pappu.
in Mohali.
No,
Why
no,
does
no,
he care about
no,
it?
even otherwise.
Even otherwise, people do
there
think,
is
yeah.
this thing कि यार नहीं वो ये बड़ा erratic सा. So what then what I realized is that this is him, right?
Yeah.
So you ask him to cut out his frivolous self.
Yeah.
But see, if
But
they
you're destroying his-
confuse being frivolous with being erratic, those are two different things. It really shows you their cognitive ability, and they're probably better
Because
off
no, they
not being
probably
in my
feel that they don't know that if you are in a particular setting, whether you'll just fly off the handle. I suspect that is what it
But
is.
that's fine. See, their
You know, after a
approval
while
or
it
lack
doesn't,
thereof
You know,
doesn't
it's like
matter to me.
you work for a news agency. Why do you put your opinions out there?
Yeah.
And then I lost a whole bunch of so-called friends because I put my opinion out there, or their opinion about me changed as a result.
But they were not
Yeah.
your friends.
So-
no? Smita.
Exactly.
simple.
So that's what
That's the point.
you have to be at that level where it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
तुम
but
जो
if
social
if
है,
there's
so-
something professional that he has to contribute, say in the sphere of defense, where your reports on the Balakot strikes were used very extensively, and we proved a lot of points vis-a-vis Pakistan. And if he's the expert, I'd use it. Even if I was in the defense ministry, what he does in his personal life, or what he's trolling Anand or Sushant, how does it matter as long as his expertise or his
यार
reading?
तू जो ये जो position ले रहा है ना, that is why you are sitting in a gathering like this.
बहुत लोग नहीं
right?
ऐसा लेते.
Oh, by the way, sorry.
So-
You know, Pakistan changed the constitution.
Amended it.
Amended.
How many times they've amended?
No, so
No,
इसमें Supreme
one
Court has
second.
become useless.
Breaking news: Pakistan has a constitution.
And they made a Supreme Court useless.
like
They've
toilet
had
paper.
several.
So Supreme Court,
Second, Pakistan has a Supreme Court.
it had a decent Supreme Court. To be fair, it had
No,
a
it did. It did
Not
have a
really.
to be-
I don't
no,
think any
but
institution
whatever.
is decent.
I mean,
No, their Supreme Court is scandalous.
but now they have a
man.
constitutional court over the Supreme Court. It's a
No,
crazy.
there is no constitutional
देखा
court. No.
सुशांत कितना
They've
खुश
amended it.
that we are ending it on Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yes.
अरे
No, I'm
that
just
bread and
really
butter stuff.
happy.
Yeah.
I'm just really happy because I was feeling really upset I didn't make it to the Canadian foreign interferers list. But this entire last section was about me.
Very
And
nice.
so I think thank you for boosting
I
me.
thought you would have been
And me,
very happy
About
that your cover
not
was
being on the
maintained.
list.
Good things about
So
you.
somebody said, Abhijit,
We've not done our dance.
Abhijit.
Can you
Wait, 1 second, wait.
Just so that he continues
So-
to be the center of attention, can I please ask him what is the lineage of Trudeau? Is it anything to do with Cuba?
See, there is a alleged conspiracy theory
Okay.
that
Alleged नहीं conspiracy theory है.
there is
It is not. There's nothing alleged.
There is
Credible allegation.
there is an alleged conspiracy theory that Trudeau's parents
Went on vacation.
Pierre Trudeau went on vacation to Cuba and they
came back
met
with
Fidel
Justin.
Castro. Now, Mrs. Trudeau
He went in
was-
January, came in October.
Mrs. Trudeau was a known swinger, and 9 months after Justin Trudeau was born.
Oof, please.
There are now
Kuch bhi.
visual
Kuch bhi, हाँ.
correlations. No, she was a known
Visual
swinger.
correlation.
But kuch bhi of
But
the...
why is being a swinger so bad?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
no,
why
not
have you
about it.
dismissed this theory? I want to know.
9 months later, Justin Trudeau was born, and Justin Trudeau seems to have some very significant facial resemblance to Fidel Castro. Now, this is an alleged conspiracy theory.
Oof, बाप रे.
We are the Pasmandas. You have been
अच्छा
in one.
ये लोग this thing that you are throwing around वहाँ पे comment section में आएगा that these people are all upper caste and they are being very dismissive about
I am
the
Pasmanda.
trauma of lower caste
We
people.
are
That is not
identifying.
true.
We are identifying with them, भाई.
But I am Pasmanda.
हाँ, and you
And the
treasured
only person
true
who
guest.
traumatized me
हमको
is
तो हम identify कर रहे
Mr.
हैं.
Ranganathan, Dr. Ranganathan.
I just want to,
There is no knowledge
I
about
want to
biology.
point out, he didn't feel the pain. I was the one
Yes.
who felt the pain and identified
Yes.
the Brahminical aggression.
And what are you? What are Iyer is his
Atrocities.
name? Huh? What is that then?
It's only in the
Because
name.
because he's only by name.
Only by name.
But by feelings,
Because he's not Iyer than an Iyer.
no. He's actually by feelings.
Iyer than an Iyer also.
By
So
feelings.
see, I am Iyer-Mitra,
Yeah.
So Mitra is what?
friend of the Iyer.
And the friend of the Iyer is
And Iyer-Mitra is friend of the Iyer, and therefore the friend should tell the Iyer the nasty truth.
Yeah.
Please.
Which is that he's a casteist Brahminical oppressor.
Yeah.
Hey Bhagwan.
And we should hold that placard
Yeah.
like they did it with Jack, right?
Yeah.
They were
Jack.
holding
Smash.
that-
Smash Brahmin patriarchy.
So
Okay, on that note, thank you,
Yes.
gentlemen,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank
And
you.
we shall meet in January 2020.
No.
In
We're
Goa.
doing December. Let's do Maharashtra. Ask
Listen,
Nick- let's do it. Come on. You guys have to come.
अच्छा ठीक है. If it works, works.
No, I'll make it work. But you
It'll
guys
be
have
too
to
soon to this
अब लोग
one.
you never the dates will never coincide. This man will take off
Can
somewhere.
we, no.
He'll
I
go
will
to
make
Kerala for that weight loss thing.
time. We will all do it in the middle of a swimming pool
हाँ,
You
हाँ.
can do
in
it
our
in my
swimming
house.
costumes.
Basically, he doesn't want to do it.
You can
ये
do it in my
देखा?
house.
House. He's just saying कि क्योंकि swimming pool उसके घर में है. Forget about Toto
You have
bathroom.
a burkini?
Yeah.
Acha.
Okay, this is true. At the peak of the hijab debate, this guy comes for lunch with me wearing a burqa.
Yeah, he came to the Diwali thing also.
The Diwali thing also.
But Diwali was
But you
secular.
know, it's true. The burqa actually liberates. Because every time I came in a burqa, I was just wearing my kacha and banyan inside. So people don't realize when they say a burqa is liberating, it is actually liberating, bro.
Like a lungi?
Who can walk into a 5-star hotel wearing kacha and fata hua banyan? He took me out for lunch at Ping's, this thing in Lodi Market, posh restaurant. I was inside wearing fata hua banyan and kacha, jockey boxers. Same in India Habitat.
And if you have an upset stomach, then it helps you also.
Hi, please.
वो सब पता नहीं छी.
Okay.
उसके लिए टोटो है.
उसके लिए टोटो.
Thank you. This is the fourth time I'm going to.
On that note.
On that note.
Thank you so much. Okay, all right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. Do write in with your comments and suggestions and share with those who you think will benefit from listening or viewing these conversations. Have a lovely Diwali. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.